6:04, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, Mornings with Brian Haldane, off and running. Brian here with you. JP producing, starting you off at 62 degrees in, it's a beautiful 62 degrees. Beautiful 62 degrees in downtown Baton Rouge. What's happening, y'all? Ready to rock and roll the Friday show. We got a lot of ground to cover this morning. We've got the Attorney General, Liz Murrill, hopping on the hotline this hour. We've got the latest candidate in the race for Senate, Kathy Seiden, next hour. We've got Hillar Moore next hour. We got it all. So let's roll. Top stories and trending. Let's get it.
Number 5.
Funeral arrangements have been set for Iberville Parish Sheriff's Deputy Charles Riley, who died in a shooting at the Iberville Parish Courthouse in Blackman earlier this week. Riley's funeral is Monday, October 13th at the Pace Center in Gonzales. A public viewing will be held from noon to 3 p.m. before a public service that lasts until 4. Immediately following the services, there will be a 21-gun salute, taps, and final call to honor Riley.
Number 4.
The FBI is looking for any potential victims of Anthony Jelks, a Baton Rouge man charged last month with raping a 4-year-old and allegedly giving that child an STD. New Orleans' FBI office sent out a press release yesterday saying that they've set up a website for residents to report if they believe their children were victims as well.
Number 3.
Derek Groves, the last of 10 inmates who escaped from the Orleans Parish prison in May, waived extradition yesterday after being arrested in Atlanta, Georgia. He's heading back to Louisiana, where he will face additional charges for his escape. By the way, that is the top topic for us to cover when Attorney General Murrill hops on the hotline in half an hour.
Number 2.
BRAC has a new name and a new mission. At an event last night called BRAC Impact, they revealed their new moniker, Greater Baton Rouge Economic Partnership. And their new mission is going to pivot towards a lot more economic development.
Number 1.
We've got 2 storms in the Atlantic right now. Jerry is there. Karen is out there as well. Neither one's going to be a problem for us. Both are at tropical storm strength right now. Jerry is a lot further south, looking like off the Dominican Republic. Karen, however, is, if you're looking at the map, basically parallel to Maine. And like I said, neither one is going to be an issue for us.
Well, after a week off, Live After 5 is back this evening at Roar Plaza. Tonight's band is the New Orleans Suspects.
The New Orleans Suspects.
Yeah.
I need to know more about them.
There we go.
Well, I do because I'm emceeing tonight. So,
Ooh.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'll be doing the introductions and the intermission and the closing and all the good stuff like that.
That's what's
I'm
up.
looking forward to it. It's going to be a great night. It's going to be perfect weather out there. Good night. This is when Live After 5 really turns it up a notch. When you get that first cool Friday.
Oh, yeah.
When you get Live After 5 back in the fall. Okay, that first one's awesome because you've been missing it for so long, but it's hot. It's so hot. And then, like, the second one's great, but, like, the heat kind of tapers off just a little bit. And then they take that break somewhere along the way. This is the one, man. This is the one.
That's it. That's it.
And then 2 weeks from now is going to be the Mixed Nuts, and I'll be back out there and seeing that one, too.
Oh, nice. Yeah, some swamp rock party music, isn't it? Wow.
No, Mixed Nuts is like
No, I'm talking about New Orleans.
New Orleans Suspects. I don't know them.
Yeah, that's the only description I got of their music is swamp rock party music. I can get down with that. I'm down with that.
Swamp
That's awesome.
rock party music.
Yeah. In other news, the Savannah Bananas are returning to Louisiana in 2026, though you'll have to drive a bit to see them. They'll be taking on the Party Animals in Caesar Superdome March 14th and 15th.
Okay. I think they could pack the dome.
Oh, what?
I think they could pack. Although, okay, so I don't know.
I just hope people show up. You
No,
know, they have the potential. They got the
Absolutely.
potential, right?
Absolutely, the people are going to show up.
Yeah.
But how close do you have to be to the action to appreciate the bananas and the party animals? Because it's a lot of dancing. It's a lot of, like, you know, the choreographed stuff in between pitches and whatnot. There's things you've got to be like.
Yeah.
Like I realize I wear glasses. I'm 48. I don't have the best eyes out there. But if you're way up in the terrace level of the that's not a show.
It'd be a different show in the nosebleeds, right?
Completely different show.
Wait, what did they do?
Although I will say this though. I appreciate all forms of baseball in the Superdome.
Yeah.
I am a child of the 80s. I missed the Winn-Dixie Showdown. Or what was it before that? The Bush Classic.
Okay.
Was that what it was? I remember the Winn-Dixie Showdown. Let's put it that way. There were a couple of spring trainings where they brought some Major League Baseball teams through. I remember seeing the Bash Brothers, the A's, playing in.
Okay, yeah.
But like,
That's awesome.
we don't get enough baseball in the dome.
Yeah, so this is good stuff.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
Yeah.
Hey, keeping it with sports, former LSU basketball star Angel Reese revealed she was named a Victoria's Secret runway model.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
Apparently, she is set to become the first professional athlete to take part in the Victoria's Secret fashion show. And she vowed last year to one day take part in the annual fashion extravaganza, and that dream is about to come true for her on October 15th in New York. So,
Okay, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't she do Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue?
that I don't know.
I'm about
That I
99%
don't-
sure I'm right
I
about
have to do
this.
some research on that.
She was in the yeah, it was right before she was drafted, or maybe it was the year before that. I'm about 99% sure she did the Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue.
Okay.
So
okay.
the modeling end might not. It's not new for her.
Yeah.
That's not new for her. All right, go ahead, Angel.
So cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of taking things off the court as well.
Yeah, I mean, you could. I mean, work on your shooting percentage. I don't know. That might be a thing. Maybe not so much, from 3 feet in, missing twice, getting your own rebound twice, and then finally scoring.
I mean,
I can't. I'm sorry. I know there's so much controversy and drama that follows her, but she will always be an LSU Tiger. So there's always going to be like,
for sure.
I love our own.
Yep.
I love our LSU Tiger. So like, even if controversy follows, like even if you're Ryan Clark apologizing on ESPN, you're still an LSU Tiger. You're still one of us. So go get him, Angel.
Good
Eat
to
him
see
up.
it.
We're at 612 at Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Oh, I do need a second before we take our first break to remind you about Supply Chain Baton Rouge. Supply Chain Baton Rouge 2025. The countdown is on until it's coming up on October 28th at the Crown Plaza. So much to talk about with Supply Chain Baton Rouge. Look, local leaders will be out there. Experts will be out there. Those who work in supply management and logistics. This is the 5th time they're doing this, and it gets bigger and better every time. It's a day of networking, a day of insight, a day of education, keep you ahead of the curve, and accelerate your business potential. Be a part of Louisiana's premier supply chain event happening October 28th at the Crown Plaza. Just look for Supply Chain Baton Rouge on Eventbrite. It's on Eventbrite if you want the tickets. Supply Chain Baton Rouge on Eventbrite. If you've been there before, you already know. If you have not been there before, it's super worth checking out because there's always new stuff to learn. Always new stuff to learn, especially in the logistics world, and that's what they're here for. Check them out on Eventbrite, Supply Chain Baton Rouge. Quick break. We're talking LSU. We're talking Saints next. We need to find a Lake Urgent Care. They're in transition with who our contact person is, and I tried multiple times this week to get connected, and it did not work. I did not get connected. So we got to find a. What did we did flu shots last week?
Yeah.
Okay, let's just find a different one from a different Friday.
Okay.
Recent, if possible.
No problem. Oh, yeah.
That's the right version. Now he's got it. Oh, yeah. Till you were gone. I was young and foolish. 616, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Sports time coming up in just a quick second, but I do need to remind you about the folks over at Landmark Bank. LandmarkBankLA.com is the website, LandmarkBankLA.com. If you go to LandmarkBankLA.com and you hit the little drop-down tab for the About Us, you're going to find where their locations are, and this is the important part, because they're not everywhere. They're a community bank, and they're in a number of communities around Baton Rouge, and they've been a community bank since they were founded in 1897. And they take pride in that moniker, community bank, because when you're a community bank or when you have a community bank, you have a banker, you have a partner, you have someone who's going to work with you to make sure that you are getting where you want to be in your personal life and your professional life. If you're a small business owner, you know how important that local relationship is. If you're a small business owner who made it through COVID, oh my goodness, I don't have to tell you, right? You already know. On the personal banking end, where do you want to be? Where do you want to be when it comes to buying a home, buying your forever home, remodeling a home, taking out that HELOC? Maybe you're looking to start saving for your kid's college fund. Maybe you're looking to downsize and retire. And when you have a banker, you have someone to walk you through it. Check them out online at landmarkbankla.com. LSU will take on South Carolina tomorrow, 6:55 p.m. in Tiger Stadium. You will hear that game on our sister station, Eagle 98.1, either 6:30 or 6:45 for Eagle 98.1's game day to begin. Coach Brian Kelly, earlier in the week, when he had his, this was on Monday when he has weekly press conference, was talking about one of the key themes going on right now is making sure players are locked in the entire game. Cut 22.
The distractions to me is just, having focus, one play at a time. It's 4 to 6 seconds. You can't let the next play affect the play that's coming up. I think that's sometimes competitive maturity and growing as an individual. I think we have some guys that have that can do that and lock in every single play and not let their play kind of go up and down. It's a process of guys playing and understanding when they see that they're not playing well, they got to remind themselves to lock back in, keep this to a 4 to 6 second play, and move on to the next. And that, I think, as I said, a number of our veteran guys have it. We got to get all of our guys on the same page.
Love that. I love that. When you break it down to that granular level, it makes football look a lot different, doesn't it? By the way, when one of the bigger problems for this season so far has been the run game. Coach Kelly talked about how much of that is just commitment.
Yeah, it's circumstantial too, a lot in terms of the runs, right? You want to be able to set up what you're doing as a play caller. And look, I think Joe does a really good job. He obviously is under the microscope. I get it. He gets it. We're looking for balance in our offense. And sometimes the circumstances are such that, a run call doesn't make sense here. But we clearly understand the need for balance. We clearly understand the need to complement our defense. And you can't do it just by throwing it.
That's right. But at the same time, though, it's important to remember, balance doesn't necessarily mean 50% run, 50% pass. I know I've quoted the late, great Mike Leach 1,000 times. Anybody who thinks you 50% run, 50% pass is 50% stupid. That's Nussmeier's strength is throwing the ball. Balance is having just enough run to where the defense has to stay honest. Kickoff 6:55. By the way, kickoff 2 p.m. tomorrow. Southern is at Bethune-Cookman. We'll talk Saints after a quick break. I have looked all over the internet. No, I've looked on YouTube. But I can't find that Mike Leach quote anywhere. Like, I want the audio of Leach saying it. Anybody who thinks, you're 50% pass, 50% run is 50% stupid. Don't look for it now. It's you don't know. You don't do it during the show. You know what I do one after the show? And this is after the show, not during the show. After the show when you can pay attention to it. Ian Malcolm, Jurassic Park. You spent so much time wondering if you could. You never asked if you should. I was thinking about that yesterday when I was talking with Haggai. Oh.
Yep, I'll get that.
I need this coffee to kick in. I'm got home late last night. Good morning, Christy. Welcome in, sweetheart. Well, I assume that was why my text just went off. Did Southern Miss win last night? Well, let me tell you, they were up by 17 in the fourth quarter. Sunbelt. Who? They almost gave it away. They gave up 14 points after that. They win by 3. Holy crap. Okay. Yeah. Then when I got home, and snuck into the bedroom, trying not to wake you up. Sorry, talking directly to my wife right now. When I got home, snuck in the bedroom, trying not to wake you up. They were up 38-21. So they ended up winning 38-35. Oh, crap, this one's me. All right, time to head back to the traffic center very quickly. Let's just say things are a heck of a lot better than they were at this time yesterday. You got a little bit of volume on I-12 westbound coming in from Livingston Parish. Actually, you know what? If you go all the way back to Range, we're looking good. After O'Neill Lane, the volume picks up a good bit, and it stays, I don't want to even call it heavy, but it stays present until you get to the 10-12 merge. Meanwhile, on I-10 westbound coming in from Ascension Parish, we are golden as always over there. 10 eastbound coming in from West Baton Rouge looks good, as does I-110. Scrolling out to see if there's anything, further east or further west. Really nothing we need to look out for there. Surface streets, however, there are a couple of accidents to look out for. But I'm going to let you know. Oh, wait, hang on a second. I'm going to let you know the only surface street accident that we're looking out for. There's being reported a hit and run on Sherwood Forest right near I-12, but it's from almost an hour ago. It's from about 45 minutes ago, but it's still on the board. That's why I share it with you. Also, since I'm sharing it with you, there was an accident reported more than an hour ago, I-10 eastbound near College Drive, but looking at the map, it's not causing any delays, so it's probably been cleared by now, but just forgot to be deleted from the board. That's your look at traffic from the Talk 107.3 Traffic Center. .624 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Vex European, VexEuropean.com is the website. If you drive a European vehicle, a Mercedes, a BMW, a Jaguar, a Land Rover, if you drive a Porsche, if you drive an exotic, they've got you covered. Vex European specializes in European vehicles. Go to VexEuropean.com, hit the little drop-down tab, see if your make of car is on there. If it is, you are going to get someone who specializes in your vehicle. Not only that, but you're going to get someone who is at the top of the top, the best of the best of the best when it comes to the level of technician you're getting. And here's a great example. You can't go there today. Well, you can, but you're just going to sit in the parking lot because they're closed. Vex closed down this week to go get more training. They hauled everybody off to go make sure that everyone is up to speed in their make and model of vehicle. They hauled off this week to make sure that if there's new technology, if there's new methods, if there's new parts, if there's new equipment, everything that they need to know, they're acquiring this week so you can be taken care of next week. We'll open back up on Monday. Hit up vexeuropean.com to make your appointment today, vexeuropean.com. Heading into the break, said we would continue with the Saints real quick. Much anticipated return of Chase Young, hopefully this week. He got back to practice this week. Chase Young on defense had the prove-it year with the Saints last year. Obviously, he proved it. They were able to sign him after that. And then he got hurt, like right before the season started. And there was some talk, do you put him on IR? He's only got a calf strain, whatever that looks like. Well, it's a week-to-week thing. He's back to practice this week. Here's Kellen Moore. Got one.
Yeah, he was able to get out there some. So obviously limited today, but yeah, looked good. Took some obviously steps in the right direction, and so it was fun to see him out there.
Okay, well, what about Sunday? Is he going to play?
I think there's obviously optimism. There's steps through this whole process. You got to see how this thing responds each and every day through each step that he takes. But he's obviously been doing so much work through this whole process, and so today was a really good step in the right direction.
Saints have the Patriots Sunday at noon. That game is also on our sister station, Eagle 98.1. It's 6:27 at Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Want to remind you very quickly about the folks over at Breck. Breck.org is their home base online. Where are they in Baton Rouge? Pretty much everywhere. Ton of facilities around town. If you go to Breck.org, you can find the facilities that are nearest to you. If you go to Breck.org, hit the little drop-down tab for your fill out what your interests are. It's a little, not a tab, just an open bar on the top where you can type it in and search them up. They have classes. They have like leisure classes, activity classes. They have sports leagues. They have everything that you could think of recreationally. They cover it. And we often talk about how they've got to be all things to all people, and they are. Doing phenomenal work behind the scenes right now to bring Breck as an organization up to speed, but they have always been here to serve us, and they continue to do so. Check them out online at breck.org, B-R-E-C, breck.org. In the news at the bottom of the hour here, coming up in just a couple minutes, you're going to hear a little bit about what's coming up tomorrow in New Orleans. Big mayoral election. LaToya Cantrell, LaToya the Destroyer, she gone after this election. Our news partners over at Louisiana Radio Network talk with John Couvion from JMC Analytics about front runner Helena Moreno. She's way out in front. Here's the big question. Are they going to need a runoff, or is she going to get 50% plus one tomorrow?
She's almost the next best thing to be an incumbent because she first was a news anchor, then she represented the French Quarter and the CBD and the State House, and then she had an at-large city council position.
She is about as well-known and popular as a politician can be. You got Royce DePlessis in this race as well. You got Oliver Thomas in this race as well. And those are two really big names in New Orleans, but it's been amazing. And we talk with Jeff Carrere every Tuesday about how they're not knocking down the door here. They're not making any headway.
Both of them are engaged in my opinion, a zero-sum game against each other, whereas she has thus far been able to build a multiracial coalition, which is what's necessary if you want to be able to win in New Orleans nowadays.
Yeah, it absolutely is. It absolutely is. By the way, speaking with John Couvion, our news partners at Louisiana Radio Network, they were speaking with Couvion, who continued to say, there is one candidate who does not stand a chance to win that could end up deciding whether or not the race advances to a runoff.
Even though New Orleans is a heavily Democratic city, you do have a Republican in the race. His name is Frank Janusa, and that Republican can conceivably pull 3 to 5% of the votes.
You know, I hate to make the comparison, but we watched it happen here in Baton Rouge, where you had a Republican that had never run for a political office before and just got this grassroots uprising to where his resume, his life, who he is as a man, just it resonated. I don't know if Janus is not that guy. He's not him, but Like we've seen it happen in our city. I don't know why they didn't attempt, they being the Republican Party, didn't attempt to replicate Sid Edwards an hour down the road. 6:30, Talk 107.3 FM. Here's news. Okay, don't.
So cool.
Has her head completely screwed on right. The mission for Guarantee Health is amazing.
Man,
We're gonna kick some ass. It's gonna be awesome.
it's freaking cool.
Sometimes when someone isn't treating you right, the best thing you can do is speak up. Might even put it into a song. You're saying a record, huh? Like go at big in them? If that's what's on your heart. I'll probably start the song like, first off, forget your girl and the crew you claim.
Oh, saw that one yesterday.
You really just said that? Mr. Rogers going hard. You need a firm opening line. Then you could say that he claims to be a player, but we all know what happened with his wife. Sometimes when someone isn't treating you right, the best thing you can do is speak up. Might even put it into a song. You're saying a record, huh? Like go at big in them? If that's what's on your heart. I'll probably start the song like, first off, forget your girl and the crew you claim. West side, when we ride, come equipped with game. You really just said that? Mr. Rogers going hard. You need a firm opening line. Then you could say that he claims to be a player, but we all know what happened with his wife. Sometimes when someone isn't treating you right, the best thing.
Oh, this is top 5. Cool. I think she's ready to go because she reposted my tweet. So. .637 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. We're hoping to connect with Attorney General Liz Murrill here in just a minute or so. Programming note: I'm bailing at 8 a.m. Got some personal item to tend to. School stuff with the kiddos, and Cade Wassan's going to take over. I know he's going to talk a little LSU football, and he's well, of course, we'll have this day in history as well, presented by 5 Star Printing and Signs. But we'll be handing off to Cade at 8 a.m. Reminder, next hour, Kathy Seiden, running for Senate, going to be joining us in the studio at 7:15. District Attorney Hillar Moore at 7:35. Give me just a quick second before we dive into our next topic to talk about Neurojust. Neurojust.com is the website. And if you are battling with anxiety or depression or have a loved one who is, you know what the struggle is, right? You know what you're facing on a day-to-day basis. Inside your mind, it's like 6-foot waves all the time, choppy seas all the time. It's a constant fight or flight. That fight or flight is anxiety. The constantness of it leads to just utter exhaustion and depression. Neurojust is here for you if you are thus far treatment resistant. What does that mean? You sit down and try to talk it out with a therapist, you're not really getting anywhere. You have gone the route of where they give you the antidepressants, they give you the prescription drugs. Either it didn't take, or you're getting diminishing returns, or there are side effects. Either way, if you are treatment resistant, give Neurojust a look. They specialize in something called TMS, transcranial magnetic stimulation. FDA approved, non-invasive. There are no side effects. And, oh, by the way, they've got receipts. Response rates are around 80%, remission rates up to 70%. And, I mean, we're talking full remission here, bringing those 6-foot waves down to calm seas. If you want to learn more, check them out at neurojust.com, Neurojust, neurojust.com. All right, hoping to connect with Liz Murrill here. If not, we can punt till the next segment on that if we can't connect with her, because I've got a lot to cover. We've got so much news that we haven't even gotten into yet. Let's while we wait on the state's attorney general, let's go ahead and pivot real quick. Big shout out to the Greater Baton Rouge Economic Partnership. Who is the Greater Baton Rouge Economic Partnership? You know them as BRAC, the Baton Rouge Area Chamber. Boy, what an event they put on last night. It was called BRAC Impact. They were over at that elite training facility on Burbank, right across the street from where Surge is at. What used to be the Winn-Dixie, and now it's Drew Brees' entertainment place right next door to our mom's. Across the street across Burbank from there is where Elite is. And BRAC put on an amazing event last night, and it's focused on not just rebranding, but repurposing their mission. One of the things that we've been looking at over the last, 2 years, 24 months or so in Louisiana has been this unbelievable surge of economic development within the state. We're seeing millions upon millions, if not billions upon billions of dollars being invested into Louisiana. Over in Lake Charles, up in Shreveport, here in Ascension Parish, we've seen the Hyundai announcement and the CF Industries announcement. We're seeing these things in pockets all around the state. How can the Baton Rouge Area Chamber focus their 9-parish area? I believe they're 9 parishes. Focus their 9-parish area onto one laser-driven mission? That's what last night was about. And they put on an amazing event over there. It was sports themed, of course. It was tailgate themed. They had a couple of videos talking about the rebranding and the repurposing and whatnot. But overall, it was just a great night of fellowship, seeing fellow business people in town who are on that same train. I was having a conversation with Chris Meyer from the Baton Rouge Area Foundation, who joins us every once a month, third Tuesday of the month. I was talking with Chris, and as I walk up, first words out of his mouth, why can't we have nice things? Hello. Why isn't that the question for everybody all the time? We deserve nice things. We do. And we have a tendency in Louisiana to fixate on the negative, hyper-fixate on the negative. We have a tendency in Louisiana, ask anybody who's not from Louisiana what they think of Louisiana, and they're going to give you a different answer than if you ask somebody who's from here. If you ask someone from Baton Rouge about Baton Rouge, probably going to tell you about crime. Probably going to tell you about public safety. If you ask someone who's not from Baton Rouge about Baton Rouge, they're probably going to tell you how awesome the people were when they came here. They're going to tell you about the hospitality that was extended to them. Probably going to tell you about tailgating, for being completely honest. But they're going to talk about how wonderful our people are. Why is it we constantly fixate on the negative? Do you get more clicks from the negative? Do you? Flashy lights on the homepage there? Is that, what's the old adage in news? If it bleeds, it leads? Is that why we fixate on the negative? Is it that we just refuse to accept that if you acknowledge something good, you're not trivializing what's bad? Two things can be true at the same time. Yeah, we're working on public safety. That's a work in progress. And you could be as curmudgeonly or as positive as you want to about where you think that's going to head. But you can't ignore the fact that we've got some really great people here. We've got some really great potential. We've got fantastic resources and the means to deliver them. That's what last night was about. So shout out to the Baton Rouge Area Chamber, a.k.a. Greater Baton Rouge Economic Partnership. I love that partnership term because we've got 9 parishes that are going to work stronger together than they are separate, than we would separate. When a win for West Baton Rouge is a win for Baton Rouge. When a win for Ascension is a win for Baton Rouge, or Livingston, or Point Capee, or East or West Feliciana, you know where I'm going. St. Helena, like the entire surrounding area, Eberville Parish, you're in that number 2 because our new bridge is going to be in your backyard. Like, it's just when you start to think about broadening out, zoom out. It's a good thing. So, looking forward to what's to come there from the GBRE EP. God, people need to work on acronyms, man. Yesterday we had Metro Councilman Darrell Hurst announcing the Delmont Economic Development District. Like, their acronym is literally dead. GBREP? GBREP? When you work on that. We're at 644 at Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. One more news topic I want to cover before we hit our break, and we will try to reconnect with Liz Murrill in our next segment instead. One more news topic I want to cover is a recent poll. We talked about the polling in the New Orleans mayor's race. How are things looking right here? Don't know yet, but I got to be a part of the poll. We'll talk about that in just a minute. Let me remind you that this week is Lawsuit Abuse Awareness Week. Lawsuit Abuse Awareness Week. We talked yesterday with Lana Venable from Louisiana Lawsuit Abuse Watch. Fantastic conversation. If you missed it, it's available on demand at talk1073.com, courtesy of the folks at Lake Urgent Care. Lawsuit abuse has a toll, a monetary toll in Louisiana. And it's easy to ignore because it's oftentimes something that doesn't, involve you directly, but it kind of does indirectly. Not kind of, it does. What kind of monetary toll are we talking about? Last year alone, lawsuit abuse led to nearly 40,000 jobs and $3 million in personal income lost for hardworking Louisianans. I didn't put those numbers together. A number of economists did. They're able to figure out and factor in, who chooses to locate their business in Texas because it costs too much to insure their fleet in Baton Rouge or in Louisiana because of lawsuits, frivolous lawsuits, jackpot justice, nuclear verdicts. All these things are a regular problem. If you want to learn more, check out llaw.org, llaw.org. So tomorrow's election day, right? And there's going to be a number of judges' races on the ballot. If you live in downtown Baton Rouge and you didn't early vote, make it a point to go vote tomorrow because your own downtown development district is on the ballot as well. And their role in Phase Baton Rouge Phase Baton Rouge 3, Baton Rouge Phase 3, is unbelievably vital. The service they provide is unbelievably vital. Get out there and make your voice heard tomorrow. That's on the ballot. Now in November, there will be another election. On that ballot will be Thrive EBR. And we've been looking at Thrive EBR on from a number of lenses. District Attorney Hillar Moore is going to join us at 7:35 to talk about it as well. But JMC Analytics put out a poll earlier this week that the long and the short of it is, I don't know that we're framing the questions right when it comes to Thrive EBR. And I think a better way to frame the question is, if we voted for Sid Edwards and we've already voted for the taxes that are going to be on there and these are just renewals, why wouldn't we give that vote of confidence in November as well? We'll pick that up next hour. Right now, here's your money now. After the break. It's all good.
So I don't know if you saw this, but the Cash Money Records versus No Limit Records,
Yeah.
they're going to be kind of going. I don't know what this is. Versus. Have you ever heard of this?
No.
I don't know if it's some type of like competition, but they're going to face off in an epic celebration of music, legacy, and culture. Scheduled for October 25th at ComplexCon, Las Vegas. So they're going to be, I don't know if it's going to be like, I guess going head to head. I don't know if that's like rap battling, if it's just like who has the better songs, like whatever. But yeah, this is interesting.
Okay.
No Limit and Cash Money Records.
Yeah.
Both.
I mean, that was the late 90s, early 2000s defined.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I know Cash Money got Lil Wayne and Birdman off it.
Yeah, but No Limit was Master P.
Yeah. Silk the Shocker, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
dude. I mean,
don't know, man.
if
No
you
Limit
really
went hard, though.
brought it out for a hot minute, Snoop Dogg was no limit.
That's true, yeah.
Mystical's in that number.
Cool, yeah. Yeah, No Limit went really hard. Like, I don't know. Man. This long-awaited matchup promises to bring together decades of chart-topping hits, star-studded performances, and the undeniable spirit of New Orleans hip-hop. Fans around the world are already calling it one of the most historic Versus events ever. Versus? Never really heard of that.
Well, I don't know, man. That's a lot of homicide in New Orleans happened between those two. That was a lot of homicide in
Yes.
New Orleans.
Yes, indeed. or do we want to try to get in touch with? You want me to try to again with Liz?
Yeah. Please.
It rings a couple. Goes back. Goes to question.
Hoping to connect with Attorney General Liz Murrill at some point this morning. In the meanwhile, we got to catch up with the folks from Lake Urgent Care. With everything going on during football season, this is also the season where the temperature drops down a little bit. You know, football weather. But that brings with it cold, flu, allergies, a lot of things that Lake Urgent Care specializes in. So let's talk with Rachel Fricke from Lake Urgent Care, who is on the hotline with us right now. Rachel, good morning. How are you?
Hey, Brian, I'm great. How about yourself?
I'm doing well. It's funny. We started off right before the show started. My producer and I were talking about how, like, I feel like we've lost the idea that there's an allergy season. Like, allergies are around the clock, or, you know, all around all the calendar. But now you can attack allergy season onto the beginning of cold and flu season. It's like a double whammy.
All year long.
Yeah.
It is a double whammy. You're
So
right.
why is this season so busy for Lake Urgent Care?
It's the perfect storm, right? So when the kids go back to school and LSU students pack the classroom, just like you said, Brian, colds, flu, strep, everything, all of it, right? It starts spreading like wildfire. So once you add in football season, the long tailgating days that we all love, late nights, and sometimes a sprain, dehydration, and you've got plenty of reasons people end up needing care. So on top of that, allergies, like you said, always flare when the weather shifts and nobody wants to miss a big game or the holidays. So because they're sick, they're going to need us, Brian.
Let's talk about, okay, I want to break down a couple things here. We're getting away from where we're supposed to be. But you mentioned dehydration right there. And, yeah, we do have longer days on the weekends. And, look, as a parent, you know, the weekdays are rough because it is also back to school time, and that means hauling kids to practices everywhere. That just means general fatigue overall. Is there a correlation between that general fatigue and, like, lowering our internal guards to fight these incoming colds and flus?
Absolutely. No, the more exhausted we are, the busier we are. We forget to take care of ourselves, let's be honest, you know, and as parents, you know, Brian, you're an amazing father. And of course, I hope I can say I'm an amazing mother.
No doubt.
We focus on our kids. We forget about ourselves. And so it's so important that on these hot in Louisiana fall days that we continue to stay hydrated and we just take care of ourselves and we remember to rest, hydrate, repeat. So yes, no, it's so critical to take care of ourselves.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about what sets Lake Urgent Care apart when it comes to not just Tiger fans, but I was kind of setting the table with the families there. What sets Lake Urgent Care apart for Tiger fans and Baton Rouge families?
Well, we've been part of this community for over 25 years, so people know that they can trust us. We're open 7 days a week with extended hours. You know, our Drusilla location's open until 10 o'clock, and we've got clinics all over Greater Baton Rouge, including one right near campus. So from flu shots to fast testing for things like RSV, strep, or COVID, all the things we mentioned, we're here to keep Tiger Nation healthy so that they can enjoy the season.
Not to mention, and I'm going to go back to those practices as well, but like you're coming out of soccer practice with a sprained ankle, Lake Urgent Care is there.
Absolutely. No, we want to be that trusted partner for our Tiger Nation and those athletes, and we're right there off campus. So convenience is everything for students. So our Highland and Lee clinic is right off campus, like I mentioned. So whether they've got insurance or no insurance, really, care is affordable. We even have a flat fee option, Brian. And because students are busy, they love being able to check in online. So convenience, like I mentioned, is everything. Even use virtual visits right there from their dorm room or the apartment. They don't even have to leave campus sometimes if the symptoms are suitable for a virtual care.
Rachel Fricke from Lake Urgent Care is our guest. Expound upon that flat fee, because I know that is an unbelievably important decision-making factor sometimes when, you go back to the top of the page with us not wanting to take care of ourselves. Your fees are not a deterrent.
Right. So we work hard to make sure care is accessible. We accept most insurances, but if you don't have coverage for that flat fee, we offer it at $170. And what's nice about that is there's no surprises. So what you see is what you pay, and and if you're ever unsure, you can call your local Lake Urgent Care or check our website for full pricing details.
I know we were talking seasonal here, Rachel, but if you could open it up to just talk about some of the other services that Lake Urgent Care provides, just beyond the regular walk-in visits.
Right. A lot of people are surprised, Brian, at how much we offer. We partner with local businesses for occupational health, so things like physicals, drug testing, and workplace injury care. Mm-hmm. We also offer medical weight loss with options. We had a fun segment on that, Brian, but we offer like semaglutide, tirzepatide, plus check-ins to help patients stay on track. Mm-hmm. And for convenience, like I mentioned, we have virtual care, online check-in, and our MyChart portal, which is so important, guys. I just want to push MyChart for a second, especially if you have a full family that you're taking care of and you're want to keep a close eye on their health. Please download the MyChart app portal. And so for results and communication, being part of our Lady of the Lake network means your care stays connected across the board.
Yeah, it's an important connection right there between MyChart and Our Lady of the Lake.
Exactly. You got it. You nailed it.
One more before we get you out of here, and we got Rachel Fricke I got two more before we get you out of here. How does Lake Urgent Care stay connected to the overall community around this time of year?
Well, we've cared for Baton Rouge families, LSU students, and local businesses for decades. Our clinics stretch from Central to Denham Springs, Prairieville, Perkins, and right, like I mentioned, near LSU. So we're proud to accept VA insurance for our local veterans too. And at the end of the day, we're just focused on keeping this community healthy and cheering on Tigers alongside everyone else.
Last one before we get you out of here, Rachel, and thank you for hopping on board this morning. You talk about that ease of care earlier. Walk us through how Baton Rouge, how Tiger Nation can take advantage of y'all's services.
It's simple, really. So just walk into any Lake Urgent Care location. If you want to save time, go to lakeurgentcare.com and check in online to hold your spot so you don't miss kickoff. We're all excited about this weekend. And don't forget, we also offer virtual visits, like we mentioned, for fast, convenient care. From flu shots to football sprains, Lake Urgent Care is here for Tiger Nation.
Priorities. Don't miss kickoff. I love it. Rachel Fricke from Lake Urgent Care. Thank you so much for a couple minutes this morning. Awesome stuff.
Thanks, Brian. Have a great
You do
weekend.
the same.
Thank you. Bye.
Do the same, and go Tigers. Coming up on 7 o'clock at Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. We're due up for a break. We will check ABC News. We'll have your traffic. We'll have your weather. Hour 2's coming up next. Don't forget, Hour 3, Cade Wassans can be taken over. And talk a little LSU football, talk a little country music as well. Right now, here's ABC News. Kathy, glad you got in okay. Kill the mics. You good? What you got going on this morning?
I just made fun of the street beat team. They're scared. They're getting out there in the neighborhoods because people are scared. Oh, God's coming. Well, maybe don't do it. It's your fault.
Yeah, you should be, right?
And then, these two knuckleheads that had Botox, they got Botox on the line. One injected themselves, and the
I
other
saw
one
that.
went to an unlicensed place. So I'm going off on all of that.
Bro,
I'm afraid of losing.
there
I
are
didn't
some
hear
things
about
in
that.
life that aren't
I gotta
DIY.
cut my grass. I gotta take my wife to get something to eat, and then when we come home, we'll fix your kid's hair whip. What the? People are stupid. I'm going off on it. I gotta listen to it. You an idiot.
I didn't
Why
even
would I
hear
admit to that?
That's
I inject
insane.
myself all
Yeah.
the time. I don't know if it's good.
Why,
Oh.
why is it the people that don't need the National Guard want the National Guard, and the people that need the
check
National
this
Guard
out.
don't
Guess
want
what?
it?
100 years ago today, 1925, LSU played their first homecoming game.
Okay.
But here's
Wow.
what the key is. It was the first time school was held at LSU. The previous year was
The Barracks.
Pineville.
Yeah. Oh, Pineville. Okay. Because I know they started at Pentagon, right?
Yeah, way back. Yeah.
Her name is Kathy Seiden. She's running for Senate.
Oh,
All right,
yeah.
y'all.
All right.
Thanks for your time, man.
Always, Rich. I appreciate it. Did someone get rid of my mouthwash?
I hope not. But a lot of stuff was moved. There were people in and out of here the other day, kind of.
Yeah, I know.
I just hope. Yeah, I hope they
It's
didn't.
not within sight of anything.
Right. Because there was some stuff that was here that was put inside those cabinets as well. So I don't know.
Well, holy hell. All right. Let's go.
Dang.
Just doing coffee breath all morning. That's what Lionel said. So I appreciate it. I'm harmless. Has he told you anything about me? I am Catholic. So if you're in Beauchene, you're either Mary Queen of Peace? Okay. Grew up in St. Tammany Parish.
You did?
I did. Everywhere. For a while I lived there's a subdivision called Pelican Park. Not Pelican Park. That's the ball field. Pineland Park. Sorry. Pineland Park is behind Franco's. Lived there for a while. Then we moved to Covington when I was in high school. So, well, that's going to be a topic of conversation. You don't need them? If you want to. We're back in. 7:05, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Hour 2 coming your way right now. Brian here with you, JP producing. Busy hour this hour. Earlier this week, a new name was tossed into the ring. A new hat was tossed into the ring for U.S. Senate race, looking for Bill Cassidy's seat, as it were. Kathy Seiden is in studio with us, going to join us 10 minutes from right now to talk about basically her why. Why is she in this race and her plans should she win. That's coming up next segment. Also this hour, District Attorney Hillar Moore going to join us. I believe we're talking a little Thrive EBR with Hillar. If not, we might talk National Guard with Hillar. Either way, we got a lot to talk about with our district attorney. Right now, though, before we get to any of that, I forgot to remind you. Brian here with you, JP producing, and we're starting off your second hour at 61 degrees in downtown Baton Rouge. Forgot to get that temp in, man. Top stories are trending.
Number 5.
Funeral arrangements have been set for Iberville Parish Sheriff's Deputy Charles Riley. He died in a shooting at the Iberville Parish Courthouse in Plaquemine earlier this week. Riley's funeral will be Monday, October 13th at the Pace Center in Gonzales. A public viewing will be held from noon to 3. Public service lasts until 4. That will be immediately followed by a 21-gun salute, taps, and a final call to honor Riley.
Number 4.
The FBI is looking for any potential victims of Anthony Jelks, a Baton Rouge man charged last month with raping a 4-year-old and allegedly giving that child an STD. The New Orleans FBI office sent out a press release yesterday saying they've set up a website for residents to report if they believe their children might also be a victim of Jelks as well.
Number 3.
Derek Groves, the last of 10 inmates who escaped the Orleans Parish Prison in May, waived extradition yesterday after being arrested in Atlanta, Georgia. He's heading back to Louisiana, where he will face additional charges for his escape. Anybody from New Orleans should know you don't go to Atlanta to look for wins.
Number 2.
BRAC has a new name and a new mission. At an event last night called BRAC Impact, they revealed their new moniker. The Baton Rouge Area Chamber will now be known as the Greater Baton Rouge Economic Partnership. Their mission, going to pivot towards a lot more economic development.
Number 1.
Heading out to the tropics. Actually, not even to the tropics, just the Atlantic. We've got 2 named storms out there right now, Jerry and Karen. Both are at tropical storm status. Jerry's expected to become a hurricane. Actually, it was expected to become a hurricane yesterday, but it's still, it actually lost a little bit of strength between then and now. Neither of these storms is going to bother us. They're both out in the Atlantic, which is where they will stay. I tell you what, JP, I got to take you back over real quick. We're going to get 6 good minutes with our Attorney General, Liz Murrill. She's on the hotline right now. How are you?
I'm good. Sorry, I got distracted by my coffee.
Hey, it's understandable and absolutely necessary to get through the day. So we're going to start off by saying this is a short segment right here. So what we're going to need to do is after we're done today, we're going to have to reschedule for a second segment because your office has been so flippin' busy. I don't know how you're knowing what even day of the week it is. 2 topics I want to cover here before we get to anything else. I was just talking about it in Top Stories and Trending. Derek Groves.
Yeah.
Talk to me a little bit about, well, first of all, once he gets back, it's not just a matter of he escaped. He's going to have more charges now once he's back in town.
Yeah, well, we're looking at upgrading he's right now he's charged with simple escape related to the escape.
Mm-hmm.
We're looking at upgrading that to aggravated escape because of the danger to people that were, that they were placed in the pursuit of him while he was out. But he has a lot of other more serious charges that he was already facing. He had been convicted of 2 counts of second-degree murder and 2 counts of attempted second-degree murder, and he had pled guilty to 2 counts of manslaughter. So he was already facing life in prison when he escaped, and I assume that's why he orchestrated the whole deal.
So he was the one that orchestrated it?
Yeah, we believe he and Massey were the 2 ringleaders of the escape.
In finding him in Atlanta, which, I don't, that's not the closest town to New Orleans. I mean, a lot of the 10 were actually found within the city. In finding him in Atlanta, what kind of efforts and resources go into pulling this guy back in?
Just a huge amount. I mean, there's been a task force working since the beginning of the escape that involves, federal marshals, the FBI, state police, my office, New Orleans Police Department, sheriff's officials, just a whole big group of people that have been persistently working to get all of these guys back in custody and then continuing to focus on those that were still out for a time. That included Massey, and then it was all focused on Groves. But we knew based on some of the intelligence that he had connections to Atlanta. It's just it's a very large area with a lot of people. Yeah. Being able to pinpoint where somebody is who's very determined to stay out of sight and who seemed to have a pretty, close network, because there's a $50,000 reward. That's not, a small amount. I mean, it's certainly enticing enough for somebody to turn him in, but he kept his head down.
And amazing that he did for so long. I mean, because there gets to be a certain point, and Attorney General Liz Murrill is our guest for a couple quick minutes. There gets to be a certain point where just the public is like, well, he gone. If he's ducked you all that long, he's what's the term, in the wind.
Yeah, I mean, he was for a little while. I mean, I think we always had confidence that he was never going to be able to stay that way, for forever. I mean, he's a identifiable person. He has tattoos all down his neck and kind of around the collar. You can see him at the collar of his T-shirt in some of the photographs. Like Massey had tattoos on his face. These are pretty identifiable marks on a person that make them, stand out if other people are looking for them. And when there's $50,000 there where you can collect it for a tip to help them get captured, they don't stay gone forever. I mean, unless they, leave the country somehow and go to a country where you can't be extradited, then they're going to have, it's the time is coming where we're going to find them.
Speaking of the extradition, he waived extradition on this. Were you expecting a fight on that front, or is this kind of, I mean, it's pretty cut and dry, right?
Yeah, I wasn't expecting it. I mean, he could have refused to waive extradition and made it, a more paperwork heavy endeavor, but he didn't. I mean, I think that he knew that wouldn't take very long. I mean, all we had to do was submit paperwork to the governor's office in Georgia. They would sign him, and then we would remove him. So it was going to happen. It just might have taken a few more days, and now we just have to get him back here.
Got just a couple minutes left with Attorney General Liz Murrill. Want to pivot over to a different topic, and I know there's not a whole lot you could say on this one because it is an open investigation. But can you bring us up to speed on where your office is with the Kyron Lacey case?
Well, my office only got involved because several parties asked me to look at the whole investigation, and so I collected all of the documents and engaged with state police and the district attorney's office. The upshot is this: the facts aren't really disputed, and I think that was probably the biggest piece of information that caused confusion at the beginning, was this statement that because he appeared to be 72 yards back in his lane, 72 yards behind the crash, that somehow made him, quote, innocent, unquote. The fact is, nobody disputed that he was driving at a very high rate of speed, passing vehicles in the wrong lane, and that triggered all of the other events. It was a terrible, thing. 2 people lost their lives, and one was the individual in the crash, who was a veteran and longtime retiree, had worked for the Customs Department in the federal government. So I think it's just a sad thing, but I mean, the whole deal was going to a grand jury. That was proper because the facts lent themselves to just a decision that had to be made about what charges to indict him on, and whether that would include negligent homicide and reckless operation and hit and run, or whether the grand jury would decide to do something lesser based on the facts. But the facts were not in dispute, and nobody disputes that Kyron Lacey was driving the green Charger that was driving at a very high rate of speed, passing vehicles in the wrong lane, and that the whole sequence of events kind of was triggered by that behavior.
Last one before I get you out of here, and I appreciate you connecting with us this morning, Liz. The last before I get you out of here is, what is your office's role in this? Like, how, as the Attorney General for the state, you're the top prosecutor basically, but how much, where does your office move in? Where does your office step versus overstep?
Well, it's just at the request of individuals who raised the question about the credibility of what the state police had done. And then we're also, I don't know why they were raising questions about the district attorney's office. They never seem to have done anything other than their jobs. Both sides seem to have done that, but my office had no official role in this other than at the request of some parties. I was asked to do an independent review and evaluate how, if there was anything improper about the process.
Right.
Conceivably, if somebody had done something wrong, there was an accusation that a trooper had falsified a report. I saw no evidence of that. I think that if that had been true, then certainly I could have filed charges. But that's not what happened, and I don't think that's what will happen, because from what I can tell, everybody knew what happened from the very beginning, and it was just a process of taking down that testimony from all of the witnesses. But everybody at the scene said, green Charger, green Charger, green Charger. So, there's never really been a dispute over the facts. It was really a legal question about what he would actually end up being charged with, if anything.
Yeah.
And that was going to go to the grand jury, and he just sadly took his own life 2 days before that occurred.
Yes, absolutely. And that is one of the more heartbreaking things about this is that it led to more loss of life overall. In the meanwhile, we'll get you back on real soon because there is a whole checklist of things to run off. Your office has been super busy. I appreciate you carving out a couple minutes for us this morning.
Yep, sure. Happy to come back anytime.
Thank you. She is Attorney General Liz Murrill. Quick break. Kathy Seiden's up next. I just ate up 4 minutes of your time. I'm so sorry. That interview was supposed to happen at 6:30 this morning, and she texted me right in the middle of doing news saying I was away from my phone. I apologize. Blah blah blah. I'm like, yeah. So we got it. Kill mics. And yeah, whatever you need. Yeah, absolutely.
I know. I don't know if I'll ever get used to.
The cameras?
Thank God Murray is, St. Murray. Does that happen?
Yes.
Can I
That was
give people sainthood after I'm elected?
I think so. It comes with the job.
I think it's a perk.
2 confirmed miracles.
You make me look good, Murray. That's a miracle.
We just upgraded that this week. We've been pivoting towards more social media stuff, and when that camera zooms in on we try to zoom it to make it more reels related.
Yeah.
And I get real blurry real fast.
Okay.
So
Well, older gals appreciate the lighting.
Well.
All right. Sweet text from my husband.
Do what?
A sweet text from my husband.
Rolling over to 719 to Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. So when it comes to political races, I make it a point to make sure we are an open forum towards all candidates. I also make sure to make it a point that I remain as impartial as possible. However, this upcoming Senate race is only going to have one candidate who is smart enough to send her kids to St. Paul's. That would be Kathy Seiden. She's from Mandeville, well, from Brewley, but lives in Mandeville now. Kathy, welcome aboard. How are you?
Hey, good morning, Brian.
Well,
Thank you for having me.
Way up on that.
Hold on. Can you hear me now?
That's a lot better.
Okay.
Wait, who keeps flipping this thing around?
There we go.
Now
All
we
right.
got you. Okay.
All right.
I want to start off with, and we'll get into a little bit about St. Tammany Parish because that's going to play in this race too.
Absolutely.
Why are you running?
I am running because I think Bill Cassidy has really lost touch with just everyday people.
Mm-hmm.
I'm running because I want to make a difference. And I know I've heard a lot about, she just has 4 boys. That's really doesn't qualify her. I actually think I'm overqualified. I run a small business, raised my children. We, raised our 4 boys in St. Tammany Parish. And I think all moms understand, whether you work inside or outside the home, that moms, they sacrifice themselves for the greater good. We already understand that. We don't seek credit, and I don't think I need to go to senator school to run for this position.
I would love to see an actual senator school. That would be an interesting take.
I don't know if it's working so far.
So your campaign launched this week.
Yes.
The first episode of the docu-series is out there. You got your cameraman in studio today.
I know. I don't think I'll ever get used to it. But
it's a weird vibe.
It is.
We got the one little mounted camera for Facebook over here.
Yeah.
So I can kind of ignore it.
Right.
But when you got a guy moving around that, what's the old phrase? When the subject of the experiment knows they're the experiment, it changes the nature of the experiment.
So Actually, Murray's been great,
Mhm.
and we've the family's gotten to know him. When we were first talking about this concept, I just didn't want it to be a reality series. I didn't want it to be scripted. We didn't want it to be anything other than what we really are.
Mhm.
Now, you will never get used to people following you around with cameras, or I won't. My family won't. But we have tried to show people who we really are. I think this is the first time this has ever been done, that a camera crews followed a candidate around and really just showed the family. I mean, we're not perfect.
Mhm.
We're real, and I think I wanted people to get to know who we were.
The with having the camera follow you around and making it, does that affect the campaign? I mean, because you've got to be in a lot of places at once.
Yeah, well, he's not with me all the time.
Okay.
And so no, I don't think it's affected anything. I think it's just, like I said, just shown who you never really get to know the candidate on a 30-second commercial.
Right.
Or at least I don't think I have. And so far the other candidates that are running have been uninspired, which is also part of the reason I'm running.
Mm-hmm. We've got Kathy Seiden in with us. She is running for U.S. Senate. We skipped right to the middle of the conversation here. Let's go back to the beginning.
Okay.
You just launched this week. Who are you? Tell us about Kathy.
So I grew up in Port Allen. My family has a business in Murrill, and I went to Episcopal High and then went to LSU. My husband and I moved off for a few years to Birmingham and then moved back to Louisiana. We miss the culture. You can't replicate our culture and family anywhere. And so then I have actually been, I talked about our business a little bit. My father died about 7 years ago, and so that was an unexpected turn in our life. And so I would commute from Mandeville to Bruley every day. He died about 7 years ago. That was very unexpected. And so I would commute, drop the kids off at school, do everything we needed to do at the business, drive back, and we did that for a few years, and every day. And now we've kind of gotten everything under control where I don't have to go every day. But it was an experience.
Unbelievable. I mean, so first of all, my condolences on your father.
Oh, thank you.
And secondly, Mandeville to Bruley's not a commute. That's a trek.
Right. Yeah. It's like running the gauntlet every day. You never know what you're going to get into. I mean, today I left a little over 2 hours early. I was here 30 minutes early.
Yeah,
you never know with
Baton
Baton Rouge traffic.
Nice and on time, for
Yeah,
sure.
so-
But you're right, you never know with Baton Rouge traffic.
Never know.
Absolutely. By the way, your drive home Friday afternoon, if you're coming back across, get back over here before 1.
I know.
Get back
I
across
know,
the bridge
great.
before 1. I mean, that is the key right there.
I know.
First episode of the docuseries is out. Your faith is playing a major role in your life. Talk to me a little bit about that faith journey and
Okay.
why it means so much to you.
So I actually am very. I usually keep this pretty close to play it. Not close to the vest, but I've been pretty private about my faith, and then I think all of that changed when Charlie Kirk was shot. I really do. I've always participated in small groups with women and that kind of thing, but I'm very comfortable talking about my faith, and it's been so. I think part of the blessing of running right now is people are actually asking me to pray for them now that I have been sharing it. I think we were born, put on this earth for a purpose, and I think that your faith helps you fulfill that purpose. And so I think it's really been a beautiful thing to see. It's how we've raised our children, and so I feel very blessed to be in this situation.
We're seeing an absolute resurgence on that front, and I don't think Charlie Kirk was any small part of that. There was a memorial over at LSU after he was murdered, and I was just asking college kids on their way out, why was Charlie Kirk important to you? And every single one of them said basically the same thing. He made me feel like I didn't have to be ashamed for being a Christian,
Right.
and like that, we're able to speak a little more outwardly now, and I love to see that oomph, that boost.
Me too.
So-
Me too. I love it.
Walk me through a little bit about what your platform would be.
So, really, it's common sense, family first. I think the first thing I would try to do is restructure our tax code. Right now, people are receiving thousands more dollars a year if they stay unmarried and have children versus being married. And so if you choose not to be married, don't have any problem with that. But I hate that we have a tax code that incentivizes it. It's led to the degradation of our family, which I think, bring up Charlie Kirk again,
Yeah.
it really does lead to the degradation of your society.
Well, it's an interesting balance though, because you don't want to incentivize one or the other.
No, I think we should level the playing field.
That's the right phrasing. That's the
Right.
right phrasing right there.
Yeah.
Level the playing field.
Right.
Okay. Let me ask you this one. What would be the first bill you would bring?
It would. I
Would do that?
would try to restructure our tax code immediately. Bringing the family back and supporting families, I think would be key.
Okay, so that's eating an elephant in one bite. I mean, that is a
No,
big,
no.
big chunk.
My husband and I were just talking about that's how I've been taking this whole thing. How do you eat an elephant in one bite at a time?
One bite at a time. That
So,
was, by the way.
I'm
By the way, it was Coach
yeah.
Brennan at St. Paul's that taught me that phrase.
Oh, really?
There you go.
I think I would do what I've done with the council. I'd just roll my sleeves up and get the job done.
Let's talk about the council, because
Okay.
while it's not, while it's not as big of an office as the House of Representatives or the U.S. Senate,
Right.
it is an office that has the functions of a local government. So, talk to me a little bit about how your experience on the council translates up to Capitol Hill.
I think it has shown me that we have a lot of low hanging fruit. At least we did at the parish level, and I think people had just been in office for a while. They've served, and it was just time for a fresh perspective. And I think that's what the Senate needs right now, some fresh perspective.
Well, and St. Tammany Parish has undergone a lot of change in let's say the last 20 years. I mean, from Katrina through today, it's not home anymore. I go back down there.
It has changed, but we're trying to keep that small. When I was elected, that's what I wanted to focus on, keeping that charm.
Mm-hmm.
But also, we're growing. We're the third fastest growing parish in the state,
Right.
And so we didn't have an economic development committee, so I started that. I'm on our infrastructure committee. We have done I think we're almost finished with our first housing study that we've ever done. And so I know people, the thing that they are most upset about is where development has gone. Maybe it hasn't gone in the correct spot in our parish. So this housing study is going to give us something that we can actually use and help developers, and it won't be so adversarial between the developers and the parish when we're trying to get things done. It'll give us a roadmap, and those are the kinds of things I've done. I've done a lot of housekeeping the last year and a half, and so I hope it sets us up for success. That's my goal.
64 parishes in the state, small business owner, and a mother of 4. How do you map out the next year?
I with a lot of surround myself with a lot of good people.
Mm-hmm.
And just put my tennis shoes on every morning and take off.
That's that's the only way you can, right?
Right.
Kathy Seiden is with us. Give us, if you could, please, the elevator pitch.
The elevator pitch.
The elevator pitch to vote for you.
I think, I keep saying I think. A friend of mine told me I've got to stop saying that.
Okay.
So I know that if we do support families and we get back to common sense values, a lot of the things that I am also very tough on crime. I think that if we could clean up Shreveport, New Orleans, and Baton Rouge and bring back our economic development to the state, I think we're in a very different position. I think Louisiana is poised to be a leader at this point. I think we've got the leadership in place with Trump, our governor, Speaker of the House. We're in a unique position right now.
Mm-hmm. It's we're really punching out of our weight class, to be sure. We're punching above
but
our
it's
weight
time
class.
we lead. It really is. It's Trump wants energy dominance and be energy first, and our nation to be energy independent. Louisiana should be a leader in that.
Absolutely.
We should be top 10, not bottom 10.
We have the resources. We have the talent.
We
There's
do.
no reason we shouldn't be.
It's an
off and
exciting
running.
time.
She is Kathy Seiden, running for Senate. Not going to be your last visit in here. We will talk to you very soon. I appreciate you coming in this morning.
So nice to meet you.
7:30 at Talk 107.3 FM. Quick break for news, traffic, weather. District Attorney Hillar Moore is next.
Maybe that's
737 Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Moving over. Thanks again to Kathy Seiden for stopping in. And thanks again to anybody who's going to call a trip from Mandeville to Bruley a commute. Whew. That is a hike right there. Not our last time talking to her. As that campaign heats up, we'll be visiting regularly with all the candidates. I mean, just revolving door through here. If you're running for Senate, stop on by. But on a ballot well before the Senate race next year, coming up in November, Thrive EBR is the name of the plan. What's actually on the ballot is the renewal of 3 different taxes that are out there. You've got the library, the Council on Aging, and mosquito abatement. All you have to do is renew these 3, and Baton Rouge can pivot to make sure that we are funded. Like being able to better utilize our dollars. Instead of keeping it all in one pocket, we can move it around to make sure that our dollars go further. Joining us now to talk about this, District Attorney Hillar Moore. How are you, sir?
Doing great. Glad to have me back again here.
No, glad to have
Appreciate
you on. My pleasure completely. So let's talk a little bit about Thrive EBR. Give me, before we get into what your office's role as far as how you would benefit, before we get into that, give me your 10,000-foot view of how you've heard this as it was proposed and as how it's kind of evolved.
I'm glad to hear that it was being proposed and that the parties came together and are now on one accord with this. Obviously, our tax failed 60-40 for the district attorney itself, and really put us in a serious hole. The mayor and a lot of city councilmen supported us on that. That would have given us an extra $10 million a year. We would have been on par with the budget for Jefferson and Orleans, and we're the largest parish in the state.
Yep.
And we're $10 million behind both of those, and it shows. And so now we have to rely on other sources of revenue, and Thrive kind of landed, and we could potentially benefit to a significant degree, not like the tax would have given us, but at least to a degree to get us started in the right direction if Thrive passes. And so Thrive is, as you know, not a new tax, but just a renewal of those that are existing and a rededication of money that's in the savings already of those 3 entities that you mentioned. And it will help us pay down debt to a large degree, like $50 million, but also free up $11 million that can go to the mayor and the city council to make decisions as to how they will spend that additional $11 million. And hopefully that would go to constitutional offices like ours and the public defender and others where the city parish sees that they need it.
You brought up the beat on the new tax, and that was a tough beat.
Sure.
Because when you looked at the numbers, and I've still got all the charts and everything you had ever printed out and brought into the studio, I've still got it all in my office right there. It was stark. When you look at the numbers on paper to see how underfunded we were. And at the same time, it's a big ask to go out and ask people in the community for more money because we're all tapped out.
Still hate it.
That's what's different about Thrive. There are no new dollars. It's just a matter of making sure that money isn't, locked away on one side when it can be used for, let's say, the district attorney's office.
And it's already in the bank.
Right.
It's there.
Right.
And all you're doing is renewing the same tax that you've been paying for ever.
Right.
But the important thing is we're asking voters to vote yes on all 3. You can vote singularly on either one, but really the benefits only if all 3 are renewed.
So, let's talk about the why on that end. Because, if we vote yes on 1 and 2, but 3 somehow falls short, it just affects overall amounts, right?
Correct. But it's significant in all of the regards. It's extremely significant. It changes the landscape, and you don't want to lay off anyone. This also affects a lot of drainage issues that we're having here. This extra money will help in that regard as well. So, again, it's just can't keep saying enough that it's just not a new tax. It's simply a renewal.
Let's go back to the beginning. Let's go back to the part where when you were seeking that extra millage, there was a reason for it. Okay, so let's go back to that. What is the state of your office right now? What is the state of the backlog, and what is the tool? What are the tools needed to get you out of it?
Yeah. So as of yesterday, we received another email and a phone call from a lady who's been at the office for many years, and she'll be my 26th attorney to leave within 16 weeks.
Oh, goodness.
16 months. Going to other jobs. This particular lady is a hardworking lady, has made a significant impact in the office over the past few years, particularly.
Mhm.
And her husband received a really good job in another state. Obviously, she has to follow her husband because they both have very good jobs. She's licensed in Texas as well. But other folks have said, look, Hillar, I cannot be a mother to my 2 children and have to work here on the weekends and at night. I can't do it for this pay. And I really love the job. And if I'm able to slow down and have less cases and be paid a little more, I could do it if I could slow the pace down.
Right.
That is, we have too many people that are in court all day long and cannot properly prepare for trial.
Right.
And that's the biggest part is just we have enough crime that just keeps us extremely busy.
Mhm.
And when you look at our budget, which is $10 million less than Jefferson, and they have 75 assistant DAs compared to 55 in Baton Rouge. Last year they had 18 homicides. Last year we had 102.
Right.
You look at the numbers and do the math. It's where would you rather be? Our ADAs have a caseload of 300, 400. Others in other parishes have a caseload of 30, 40.
Well, but talk about that as well, because when you have that level of caseload, you cannot give cases the attention they deserve. I don't want to like call out any of your ADAs, but I mean the chance
it's a
of making,
reality,
right?
And it's the cases that have the blood in the guts are the ones that we have to keenly pay attention to,
Right.
Compared to the others where it's maybe monetary, where that doesn't get the attention, takes a lot of time, takes a lot of court time, and courts want to move those people who are in jail on very serious offenses than those that are not, do not get quite as much attention, which is not right, not fair to those who are impacted by lesser crime but need the same attention.
Well, it's like the old, when you're spinning plates, right?
Yes,
You can only keep them all balanced for so long.
Correct.
We had District Attorney Hillar Moore in with us, talk about Thrive EBR and the effects on his office in particular. Total caseload backlog. What are we looking at there?
We average around 12 to 15,000 cases a year, and so that's a lot. We have probably 200 something murders to try that are people are dead and folks are awaiting trial. That's a lot.
It is
to get through, and then just the numbers stack up from there. So that's just a really big telltale number that we have.
The I want to go back to something you said very early on in this conversation. A lot of this will allow us to pay down debt. Why is it important to pay down debt?
Well, just like you in your own home, you'd rather be debt free.
Mm-hmm.
You can do a lot more when you're debt free. It helps your ability to, get other grants and other monies from different places, bonding capacity, etc. And frees up other money. It's just it's pretty simple economics that families and offices use. I don't want to be in debt at the office. We have to pay our bills, and we're not in debt. We're equal. But at the end of this year, we probably may have a $50,000 or $75,000 surplus.
Mm-hmm.
Jefferson Parish has a $20 million surplus.
Goodness gracious.
So comparing the two parishes, it's a big difference.
Reception around town. I mean, you're out and about like everybody else is. What's the feedback you're hearing on Thrive?
So I think it's too early yet to tell. As you know, voters really do not get moved until 2 weeks out, a week out. And I think the media has not yet really been in full force with different folks pushing the tax. So I think we just need to keep talking it and letting people see what the benefit is to this. But the main thing is that it is not a new tax. People do not want to vote for new taxes. We could tell by mine, 60 to 40. Loss, not a good one. I really thought we had it. I thought we had our message across, but obviously did not because it was a new tax.
Yeah, and that came through. It was like I said, just a tough beat across the board.
And that had to raise $400,000 just to get that message out, and that was the result. That's a lot of money for a tax that you would think would pass. It's a lot of television, a lot of radio. A lot of meetings.
Yeah.
And it's tough.
Well, the reason I ask you about, what the feedback is around town is because at the end of the day, when you go to the ballot box in November, the word Thrive is not going to be on the ballot.
Correct.
That Thrive EBR is not going to be on the ballot. That's the name of the campaign overall. but this is a 1, 2, 3. It's a
Wording-
1, 2, 3 punch.
Wording on the ballot is substantial.
Yeah.
And our wording on our ballot had district attorney.
Right.
And so, I thought that would even help
Well, and that's
much
why
more.
that's why I ask about the messaging,
so-
because that's as important as anything else.
So the messaging is extremely important. I think that you'll now see it really uptick in the messaging. And I think what the mayor and the proponents of this are doing is they're breaking it down to how will this help Baker, Central, Zachary, St. George?
Yes.
Because it helps everyone. When you pay off that debt, it helps not only just Baton Rouge proper, but it helps all those other incorporated areas as well.
And that is as important, if not more important, than all the rest of it.
To them.
Because, I mean, no, absolutely. Well, to all of us, really, because when, like, St. George is the most recent, right?
Correct.
Central was 20 years ago, but when they formed their own city, they are still part of a city parish. And until the day comes that we might move towards a different form of government, what helps them helps us. What helps us helps them.
Correct. And I think speaking with Mary Stein at the library, who's a really vocal and strong lady, she knows what she's doing.
Oh, no.
And she can get her message across.
I ran it. Oh, I'm forgetting where. I think I ran into her like a Planned Baton Rouge Phase 3 meeting.
Yeah.
And first of all, not tall.
No,
So there's a lot of power coming out of that stature.
My mother was 4'11" and carried a little wet rag. I had more respect for her than my sergeant major dad. So I met with Mary and I said, "Look, Mary, I really want to talk to you about this. I want to make sure we're on the same side," and we are. And she said, "Hillar, this is how I look at it. I'm the Baton Rouge City Parish government is the body, and I'm an arm. Without a body, I can't survive. My arm can't survive. So I need the whole body to be well, and so that's the reason that she is pitching in and doing. It's the same with the other entities.
It absolutely is, and I think the fact that the voices from inside those three entities, because this started with the library, and then Council on Aging and Mosquito Abatement basically said, "Throw me in that ring as well." When you have that vote of confidence from within, I have no reason on the outside looking in to say, "Well, you know your job better than I know your job, and if you're on this, then I'm on this."
Yeah, as long as those entities are healthy and they're telling the voters we can survive with this,
right?
Then I think that voters ought to trust them. I know individually people may have different issues with each one of the entities, but they do serve a function. I mean, I see the meals that go out on Council on Aging on a regular basis. I know they've taken some heat on different things, but man, I've seen it myself. I've seen it at the Thanksgiving dinner when these people come for Council on Aging, just like you go to the giveaway of the turkeys at the St. Vincent de Paul.
Yeah.
It's a sight to see.
It is.
There's a lot of people who are extremely needy, all different colors, races, you name it. So those are things that are needed, although politically wise, they may get heat from different things. They're needed.
He is District Attorney Hillar Moore. They are listed as Propositions 1, 2, and 3 on your ballot, not Thrive VBR individual.
Right.
That's just the campaign overall. Propositions 1, 2, and 3. There's support coming in from all over the parish. You mentioned the individual cities, the mayors from around. I know.
Have endorsed.
I know Wade Evans is on board.
Yep.
And Dustin Yates and St. George is on board. Zachary's mayor. Why am I breaking on? McDavid. Yeah. He's on board as well. And obviously, Darnell, but and then obviously, Coach is on board because that's where this whole thing generated.
Absolutely.
We're in a scenario right now where if all the players involved are like, it's the vote of confidence. That's the part that I can't like. That's what's swaying me is if everyone on board is saying this will help us, especially those players who have broken off before, then okay, if they're in, I'm in. So.
And then you still have the checks and balance of the city council.
Yes,
it will be the ones that will vote on how.
Absolutely. Propositions 1, 2, and 3 coming up in November. District Attorney Hillar Moore. I appreciate a couple minutes.
Thanks, sir.
We got. We'll take a quick break, then a check of traffic. We'll continue next right here on Talk 107.3.
All right, man. Thanks a lot.
Appreciate it.
See you
Thank
soon.
Yes, absolutely. 756 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane. Rolling right along. Man, thanks again to District Attorney Hillar Moore for stopping by for a couple minutes. Talk a little Thrive, EBR. Renewal of current taxes. Propositions 1, 2, and 3. And just the level of importance when you look at just how far behind the years of neglect, the years of sweeping things under the rug, the years of compartmentalizing, boxing, dedicated taxes, propping up one entity while letting everything else fall to the wayside. It's just years and years and years of correction that is needed. And if you rewind the clock, and I know hindsight's 2020, we can look back and say, you did it wrong back then. We can Monday morning quarterback previous administrations all we want. But I choose to live in the here and now and say we have the opportunity to right the ship. We have the opportunity to undedicate, if you will. And I know I'm using the wrong phrasing, but this can be fixed a little bit. Hey, if you wouldn't mind, JP, grab 13, 14, and 15 here. We're at 7:57 at Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Don't forget, tomorrow is game day. Mathern's is your definite game day stop-off. Right there on campus. Nicholson Gateway Shopping Center, directly across the street from Tiger Stadium. If you're tailgating, you forgot something, you ran out of something, whatever the case, somebody wanted something you didn't have, Mathern's has got you covered. They're a full-service grocery store every day of the week, and if you have the Mathern's Rewards app, you already know. You're earning cash towards more groceries every time you shop. You get all the deals, all the coupons, and the deals of the week every single week with the Mathern's app. Well, on game day, they're here for you. Still a full-service grocery store. So whatever you forgot for your tailgate or ran out, stop on by. They've got you covered. And if you don't host a tailgate and you just bounce from tailgate to tailgate, stop on by for a cold beer. They got the tent set up outside. They got the jambalaya tent set up outside as well. It's Mathern's. So you heard that story in news from Louisiana Radio Network. Talk about the possibility of a special session as the discussion of pushing back the qualifying and party primary dates for the 2026 federal election is what the focus of that would be. This is all hinging on the U.S. Supreme Court hearing oral arguments next week about our congressional map, which most in this audience would agree is unconstitutional. It was based off of nothing but race. It's a map that we've actually seen in the past and has since been rejected. And then we're going right back to it. Our news partners at Louisiana Radio Network spoke with Senate Governmental Affairs Chairman Caleb Kleinpeter. He says if the court rules after qualifying in January that the state needs to draw a new map, Louisiana will be stuck with the current one for 2 more years.
If we don't address it and the Supreme Court comes back in February and says the map is unconstitutional and we're changing this with the Voters' Right Act, we wouldn't look too good to our constituents.
No, we would not. So getting out in front of this is important. Now, qualifying to participate in the Republican and Democratic Party primaries for next year's federal elections is currently scheduled for January 14th and 16th. The party primary is scheduled for April 18th. A runoff would take place on May 30th. Kleinpeter says they'd like to move these dates back.
We're going to go ahead and push back the closed primaries and work with the Secretary of State on some dates.
I don't know where I'm at on this because I see the need for it or I see the want for it, but we set up these rules very recently. And to undo rules that we just set up, I get it. I get it. Did we paint ourselves into a corner? Speaking as a Republican. Hour 3 is next. I'm out of here. Cade Wassan's about to take over. In my office. I can bring it back down for you. I'm going to leave my headphones plugged in if you need them. All right. How's the light working out? Really, really well. Do you have the app? Who has the app? You don't have the app yet? Me? Yeah. No. Okay. One of us will need it for Monday. Yeah. So I'll give it to Michelle. All right. Is there like, when you move it to the setting, is it like
vague like line, or is it like I can set it at 3 or 4? Or something?
yeah, it's just a big one.
But there's like but there's a consistent like part that we move it to every day, or it's just if you turn it on, it's already set.
Yeah. Kind of what we settled on yesterday, just going to be what it's on now.
So whatever you turn it on, it's just already set to that,
It should be.
or you have to do it every day.
You know what? It might. You know what? It might be set. I never tried it with someone else with the app, but it might because I'm looking at Tigers and theirs is set a certain way. So if I would turn theirs on.
Thanks, Brian.
Thank y'all. Appreciate it.
Are you back after, or
Yeah, I got living rosary and then brunch, and then I'm back.
okay?
So
You have this day in history.
Yeah, I got this day in history. I also got the cuts. So that game time.
Yeah.
Is that the, okay.
I don't know. Somebody just randomly emailed me. This guy's syrup.
Yeah.
So I listened to about a minute of it and didn't have any cussing. So we'll give syrup some love. No problem with syrup. Or maybe it's syrup.
Six Mafia say. Scissor.
Yeah, sipping on some scissor.
Sip. Scissor. Yeah. Remember that? Dang. It's wild. Let's see.
We're gonna call Hunt on the phone. He was gonna be in the studio, but he had to call Hunt, so I'll share that number with you.
Okay. That Instagram cut. Is that something about? Is it a Fox 5 Atlanta trend or something?
Yeah.
It's saying it has no sound. That's weird.
I sent an audio file of it too.
Oh, you did.
Yeah. I got here enough time to send you an audio file.
Oh, perfect. Okay, I see it. So Hunt will be in 8:15.
Yes.
Okay.
His contact.
Okay, perfect. Okay.
8:06 on Friday morning here on Talk 107.3. Mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along, but Brian is out and I am in. I am Kate Wozniak hanging out with John here for the next hour, and then I'll go get ready to prepare for a prep show tonight. Speaking of which, so on our sister station at 6 o'clock tonight, Louisiana Prep Preview. That's my show. Catholic High played last night, so normally it's after further review, Louisiana Prep Preview, right in the Catholic High, and we kind of do that 45-minute bridge the gap between the two shows. Tonight we got a full hour, so if you're looking to get some coverage of the Baton Rouge area and a little bit of what's going on outside the 225, you can tune into us. But, of course, throughout the night, Ken Trahan's original prep football report starts at 6, goes to 11, live in-game updates. They'll speak with some victorious head coaches. They'll give a full scoreboard at the end of the night and really get in touch with correspondents from every corner of the state. That's the one and only Ken Trahan, the original, as they call it. That starts over here at 6, goes to 11 tonight. Coming up this hour, we're going to get in touch with Hunt Palmer. You may know Hunt from radio. You may know Hunt from his writings at LouisianaSports.net. And when it comes to covering LSU, Hunt is the absolute best. And so we will get his perspective on LSU's upcoming game against South Carolina. Last year, it came down to a field goal. It came down to Caden Durham running a pretty good ball game. So him returning from injury is huge. So we'll see. This one is in Death Valley, and it is tomorrow at a scheduled 6:45-ish kickoff. We'll talk to Hunt about that. And then Jimmy Brooks from 100.7 The Tiger will join me, and we'll just talk about some random stuff. In the meantime, this day in history.
All
JP,
right.
what you got?
Taking it way back here to 1780.
Yeah, it's a long time ago.
The Great Hurricane of 1780 hits Barbados and goes on to kill 20 to 30,000 people in the Caribbean, making it the deadliest recorded hurricane in the Atlantic.
Barbados is absolutely beautiful.
Come on, man.
It is beautiful.
I bet.
Had a chance. I know I'm not trying to make this about myself, but I had a chance with my wife to visit, and we swam with sea turtles, and it's one of the coolest experiences I've ever had in my life. You're just kind of floating in the water, and these beautiful creatures are underneath you. Sorry to hear that back in the day, but I had nothing to do with it. I'm just telling you, it's beautiful now. They've recovered.
They've
Good
recovered
thing.
well.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Shout out Rihanna.
1871, the Great Chicago Fire is finally extinguished after 3 days, leaving approximately 300 dead.
I don't think the people thought it was that great.
And causing $222 million in damage.
Wow.
Just starting off with tragedy.
Can we get something a little brighter? It's a Friday.
I don't know. Let's see. You know what? 1970, Black Sabbath were at #1 in the UK chart with their second album, Paranoid.
There you go.
Which contains some of the band's most well-known songs, Iron Man, War Pigs, and is now regarded as one of the classic heavy metal albums. So,
R.I.P. to the great one.
Yes.
Ozzy.
Keeping it with music, 1978, get a load of this. Joe Perry and Steven Tyler from Aerosmith were injured after a cherry bomb was thrown on stage during a gig in Philadelphia. The group performed behind a safety fence for the rest of the tour.
Makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Philly fans hate everything. Aerosmith, great music, cherry bomb, Santa Claus is on the field. Let's throw stuff.
There
Let's
you go.
chant vulgar things.
Oh,
Philly
man.
can't have anything nice.
Can't. Nope.
Hey, and they lost last night, I believe.
You know what?
Yeah.
Maybe
there you
they
go.
deserved it.
So wait, okay, if I'm not mistaken, let me pull this up, because through the laws of how things work in sports, Philly lost to the Giants last night, 34-17. Saints beat the Giants last week. So by that recognition, Saints are better than the Eagles. Go ahead.
That's right. There you go. That same year, 1978, U.S. Congress approves the dollar coin honoring women's suffrage campaigner Susan B. Anthony.
All right.
And then 79, that following year, rock band Fleetwood Mac gets their star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
You're a Fleetwood Mac fan?
A little bit. I like the hits.
Okay.
Let's just say that. I like the hits.
Yeah.
How about yourself?
You know, I look, she's got an incredible voice, and for the most part, I know there's been some cancellations here and there, but still touring, so a lot of respect there.
Oh, absolutely. Last one, 1991, ex-postal worker Joseph Harris kills 4 postal workers.
Is that where the postal?
I think
Yeah.
so.
Okay.
I believe so.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Insane stuff. Start with tragedy, end with tragedy, unless you have anything else. A little
let's go
less
to, like birthdays and well,
Yeah.
I say deaths because that's not a positive thing, but you're celebrating the life of somebody in that sense.
That's
so
right.
Let's do that.
Starting off with birthdays, David Lee Roth today.
Yeah.
Hey, Mario Lopez as well.
AC Slater.
That's right. Brett Favre as well today.
Mhm.
And Dale Earnhardt Jr. on my list here.
Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Yeah.
All right.
Anybody else? Do you have any on your end?
I do not.
Okay. Let's see. As far as deaths go, Orson Welles today and Christopher Reeve today in 2004.
Superman.
Yeah. That's
How about
right.
that?
Let's see. As far as national days go, World Mental Health Day today.
Yes.
World Mental Health. Okay.
That is fair. That is good. That is this day in history. Thanks so much to John.
No problem.
Yep. It is about 8:12 here on a Friday morning. And John, I know we will have a chance to thank a lot of our sponsors throughout the day.
Yes, indeed.
5-Star Printing and Signs.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Making sure they get their love, helping us bring this great segment to you each and every day, this day in history. All right. So we'll take a time out. When we get back, it is time to talk to Hunt Palmer. It's time to talk about LSU football. I'm Cade Wozniak in for Brian Haldane, but this is Mornings with Brian Haldane on Talk 107.3.
All right. Let's see. So do we want game time played coming back in?
Actually, can you pull up on YouTube, Go Cubs Go?
Okay.
For Hunt.
Yep.
You may have to put it in offline so he hears it, but. All right. I know we're going to talk LSU, but Hunt has had a really busy morning. Hunt still made time to come in with me on this show today, despite that. So crank up that music a little bit. I'm going to give Hunt some love. 6-0. Chicago beat the Brewers. Chicago Cubs beat the Milwaukee Brewers last night, forcing a game 5 on Saturday. So go Cubs go for Hunt Palmer. Hunt, how are you today? Hunt, you there? Hunt? We'll find out. I thought we had Hunt. Maybe we didn't.
feel like you're talking to me. I can't hear you because I got Go Cubs Go in my ear really loud, which is really good on this Friday morning. I appreciate that.
There you go.
I
Okay.
did not hear you talking. Now I got you.
Okay. Fair enough. I was making sure I gave you a little extra thank you, a little lanyard for coming on the show today. I'm sure you're in a good mood because of that.
There's no doubt. They turned off the TVs and turned on the lights at walk-ons last night. I was at the last table there. There was one out left to record, but we got it, got home, and now back at it on a Friday. We're feeling good. We got one game to win on Saturday, but I know we got to talk about some LSU football so we can do that.
Is kickoff time and first pitch very similar on Saturday?
Very similar, but that's okay because it's one of those rare instances where I'm very, very good working an LSU game because I'll have my laptop ready. I'll have the Cubs on the laptop in the press box. So I'll be locked into LSU South Carolina, but the Cubs will get some of my attention. Fair
enough. All right, so on to LSU, and as we mentioned, HUD does cover LSU for us at LouisianaSports.net. Of course, you can hear him weekdays 1 to 3 on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. He's going to be speaking at Lod Cook today. Hunts all over the place, but has great knowledge. First off, team health. And I'm going to go through the checklist, and even if these are obvious, I just want to know, Caden Durham, good to go?
Feels that way. He's dealing with a sprained ankle. That's obviously not good for a running back, but he did not play against Ole Miss, and obviously he had the bye week. So he's had 3 weeks since he sprained the ankle. I can't promise he's 100%, but I feel like he'll give it a go tomorrow.
Weston Davis.
This is a weird injury, Cade.
That's that whole thing about like pregame. It happened.
He broke his nose and got concussed in pregame warmup. I've watched a lot of pregame warmups in my day, and I don't know that I've seen a collision that would escalate to that. But it did happen. It appears he is ready to go. There is a question whether or not he will start. I think he will. I think he'll start at right tackle and at left guard. There may be some issues, and I guess we can get to that. Paul Mabenga is doubtful for this game. He's been LSU's left guard most of the season. Carius Kern and Cohen Eccles are battling at that spot. I think there's a good chance that both of them will play tomorrow, but I don't think you'll see Paul Mabenga at left guard.
Aaron Anderson, good to go?
Not quite. He's still questionable. He did not practice last week. He did not play in the second half against Ole Miss. When Brian Kelly was asked last week kind of what's the issue with Anderson, because we didn't really know, he said basically everything. He's just hurting. He's got a hip. He's got a knee. He's got a foot. Like it's a lot of different things. So I would suggest he will probably warm up and try, but I don't know that he'll play 65 snaps.
All the things that would require you to be a good receiver. all the things that could hurt. So from there, I go to the quarterback, and the quotes that I read from you and from Coach Kelly was last week. He didn't throw much or didn't throw at all. Got him some rest. How is he feeling, or how is your thoughts on him going into this week, especially with some of these pieces on the line potentially and very likely out?
There's just no way to know, Cade. The only people that know are Garrett and that coaching staff and medical staff. And we just haven't gotten a clear picture of how Garrett Nussmeier is feeling since August. And clearly, it's not great. I don't believe that the LSU coaching staff and Garrett Nussmeier is obligated to tell us how he's feeling. There are some people that think that. Certainly there are some gamblers that think that. I think that's okay to keep behind closed doors, and right now it has been. If he goes out on Saturday night and throws a couple of deep balls for 50 yards and throws for 315 yards and 3 touchdowns, and LSU wins, I think the narrative after the game will be, okay, LSU's ready to go. If he is throwing a bunch of screen passes and can't get the ball out there deep, and LSU only scores 17 points and loses the game, your season is effectively over. And I don't think that's hyperbole. Like, it's the biggest issue regarding this team right now, and we just don't have a clear answer. We're just going to have to wait and see. I can't help but think that a week off is going to help him, but we just don't know how much.
So as the offensive, and maybe this is a broad question, and I'm going to try to ask very specific, but is the struggles offensively in your mind, from what I hear, and I'm just hearing as an armchair backup quarterback, Is it partially, I don't say Nuss's injury, but things that he's restricted on, or is it also the play calling?
I think it's a combination of a lot of things. I think it's his injury. I think it's the lack of the running game at all. I think it potentially is play calling, although that's not my expertise in any stretch of the imagination. I think it's the coaching staff trying to play conservatively because they know the defense is good. You don't want to make a mistake that will compromise the defense. I think there are myriad factors that go into the fact that Nussmeier and the offense have not played very well. And the fact of the matter is that it's got to get better one way or another, whether that's all the things coming a little bit better, whether that's the passing game getting significantly better. Like it's got to improve. My opinion is that the LSU running game is not going to get significantly better. This has been a 3-year issue, really, that they haven't run the ball very well. Even with Jaden Daniels at quarterback, the running backs didn't really get cooking. It was more him just kind of doing what he does. And since he left, they haven't really run the ball. I don't expect that to change significantly in October and November. I do think they can be much better throwing the ball. And I think that we saw that last year. I think that's the chance that LSU has to elevate itself offensively. And it probably needs to start on Saturday.
Was the last 1,000-yard rusher tight of his price?
That sounds right. Yeah, Clyde did, but obviously that was 2019, and tight his prices after that. Yeah, he would be the last one. They just
wow. Okay.
They have no, I shouldn't say that. Jaden Daniels ran for 1,000 yards.
Oh, fair enough.
But you don't have Jaden Daniels, so yeah. I mean that's the issue.
Another issue last year was Lenore Sellers. He was a problem, and had he not gone out in that ball game, who knows what the outcome would have been. The LSU won, so that's that. But when I read stats, I'm a little skeptical because going into the Ole Miss game, I heard, and it was not inaccurate, that Ole Miss's rush defense was here, and this is a great thing for us to. South Carolina last in the SEC in total defense, right? I mean, they're not scoring a whole heck of a lot. They allow a lot of sack yardage. So if you can contain Sellers, you can have success. But if I'm a Tiger fan, I feel like I'm a little worried about this guy.
He's very good. He is 6'4". He is 240 pounds, and he runs like a racehorse. He is something else. But they don't have anything else outside of him. They've got a bad offensive line. They've got bad running backs. They've got maybe the biggest talent in college football at wide receiver, but he hasn't really done much. That's Nick Harbor, who is 6'5" and literally is a potential U.S. Olympian in the next track and field Olympics in 3 years. Like he's a freak of a human, but he doesn't really do a lot. They can't score. They are 91st in the country in scoring offense, and that also includes 6 non-offensive touchdowns. They have run 3 punchbacks. They blocked a field goal for a touchdown. They've got a pick 6. They've got a scoop and score on defense. Mm-hmm. And they're still, that counts towards your offense. They're still 91st. They're 122nd in yardage gained. So they've got a talented quarterback. They can't do anything else. So for LSU, the key in this game is to make sure that Laura Sellers doesn't improvise and run around, do things off schedule, and create big plays that really aren't by design. They're just because he's a really good athlete. And we talked to the LSU players on Tuesday. They're well aware of it. You got to contain him at the line of scrimmage, and then the cornerbacks have to be sure that they don't come off their man to try to go tackle him, and then he's still behind the line of scrimmage and throws a 70-yard touchdown. Like we've seen some of that in his 2 years as a quarterback. So he is all focused on number 16, Lenore Sellers, and I think they'll have a good plan for him.
You mentioned some of the other ways they've scored this year. So how much of a concern is special teams when it comes to South Carolina? And considering last year's game came down to a make or miss on a field goal, a 3-point game, is that a concern?
I don't think it's a huge concern because LSU's been very good at special teams, but it is a place where I wrote this on LouisianaSports.net. If you're looking for a place that I think a pretty poor South Carolina team can turn this game to their advantage, it is a big play like that. It is a punt return. It's a blocked field goal. It's a fake punt, which they did against Kentucky. They know that they're not very good, and they look for an advantage in a hidden spot to maybe flip a game. And they did that against Virginia Tech. They actually did it against South Carolina State, who's in the MEAC in the FCS. They were losing that game in the second quarter 3-0 and ran punch back on consecutive possessions to take control of that game. Like that's a spot where they feel they have an advantage on those teams. I don't think they have an advantage on LSU because LSU's been very good on special teams, but you do have to pay attention to that for sure.
Before we get you out of here, Hunt Palmer here from LouisianaSports.net, of course, the Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. On Saturday, they're going to be honoring the legend Doug Morrow. I know you've had some time work with Doug, being part of LSU Sports Radio Network, but certainly being an LSU fan. While you and I both did not watch any of Doug's great plays as a Tiger, you know of the story. One thing in particular, through Michael Bonnett's release, I didn't realize he was also a kicker. And in a bowl game, he's catching passes and kicking field goals at the same time. Doug's incredibly fun, incredibly talented guy, and he'll get honored this week. You have any fun Doug Morrow stories real quick?
You know, Doug's just been a joy to work with. He's always in a great mood. He lights up the room when he walks in. And in no way am I, like, eulogizing Doug. Doug is still got a lot of life to live. But I do want to comment on the fact that he's just lived such an incredible life to go to LSU and to be an All-American. You mentioned he played offense, then he was a kicker, and then he played professional football. And then he came back and went to law school, and then he became a district attorney in Baton Rouge, and he's been on the radio for 4 decades. Mm-hmm. And the impact that he has had across so many different lines of work and stories is just amazing. And it's been a joy of mine to spend the time that I have with Doug on the LSU Sports Radio Network. So he is very much not someone who wants attention and wants a focus on him, but he's done so much for the university, a university that means so much to him. I think it's amazing that LSU is going to honor him on Saturday. I hope that he very much enjoys it. And if you're in the stadium on Saturday, get out of your seat. Give Doug an amazing round of applause because it is well earned.
Yeah, I mean, on the radio side, he worked with John Ferguson, Hawthorne, Chris Blair, who's currently the voice of the Tigers. The pregame portion, where him giving us updates on the weather, conversations with you guys, conversations with Gordy. Hester has done a great job, stepping in. But, Doug was really kind of part of that tradition. When you turn on the radio, you got ready for Saturday. So it'd be great to see him honored this week. We got 90 seconds. So before we get out of here, just a quick 30-second thought on the uniform patch. I knew this was probably something coming in sports, but now LSU locks in a deal, right?
Yeah, Woodside Energy. I'm a huge traditionalist. I hate when they do anything with the uniforms. But this is necessary to keep up. You have to pay the players. You have to find revenue. There are $20 million coming out of the budget annually to pay the players, which I'm perfectly fine with. But you got to find revenue streams. Yeah. And the truth of the matter is, you're watching on TV or you're in the stadium, you can't even see the patch, and they're paying for it. So it's something that LSU needed to do, and it's good to see it get done.
You can find his work at donbest.com. Oh, wait, LouisianaSports.net each and every week. I really wanted to get that in. I wrote that in last night. LouisianaSports.net, for real. Hunt is great, and you'll hear him this afternoon at 1. Really appreciate your time today, man, and enjoy the ball game, both baseball and the Tigers tomorrow.
Only one way to enjoy him. I need the Tigers and Cubs to win. Thanks, TV.
All right. Hunt Palmer there, LouisianaSports.net. Got ABC News coming up here in about 30 seconds, and then Louisiana Radio Network, which caught up on the local headlines. When we return, we have a special guest joining us. We're going to talk country music. We're going to talk trends. We're going to talk all kinds of things. John will be included in the conversation as well. This is Mornings with Brian Haldane. I'm Kate Wozniak filling in for the rest of this hour here on Talk 107.3. Yeah. He had something with his daughter at Mercy, I believe. So he just left at 8. Oh. Michelle, did she want to come in?
I told her I was coming.
Oh.
I didn't know if.
I didn't have any said things.
I forgot my headphones. I'll be right back.
Yeah. Come back with that, whatever that music is. Yeah. Botulism. You can sit there. I don't know if this would block it. Yes. Cool. Yeah. She's not mad or anything, huh?
No.
Oh, okay.
She was like, I thought I just saw Brian down here. I said, no, I don't think you did. And then he walked out the building.
Oh. All right. How much time we got? Cool. Yeah, I was looking for stuff to talk about. I didn't really have anything. I was gonna on the back end throw into the boots in the bayou. Did they ever decide on that? Y'all ever decide on that
They
replacement?
are close. They
They
might
can't say
announce
anything, I
to-
guess.
Yeah.
They might announce today.
Maybe. It just really depends. Like I wanted Big about to do a video or wanted the artist.
We're on
to-
Facebook, so just make sure. Yeah, you don't say.
Right. So.
Or turn the mics off for a second.
What is this?
So I got an email over the night. This is from Syrup, or is it Syrup?
Syrup.
I believe it's Syrup.
Scissor.
And he's trying to promote his music, as you can hear here, and it's talking about going tailgate. It's game time and all the things that go along with it. Because my story that I was going to read is talking about tailgating and football, so I just felt like what's great about Syrup's song is that he's really kind of dictating everything he's doing in the day. He pulls up to the stadium, he gets ready. Like, he doesn't even include like shaving or whatever, but he's got like every detail of his day in his song. So I just thought it was perfect for this topic.
Is he from here?
You know, I don't know.
I'll have to do some research on.
Yeah.
Might have to do that.
That is Syrup, ladies and gentlemen. Maybe it's a sticky song. Who knows? Jimmy Brooks is here with us.
Nice.
From 100.7 The Tiger, and there's lots of stuff to get to when it comes to country music, in the world of country music, because at the end of this month, Halloween weekend, I believe it's a very busy weekend. So Halloween is a Friday this year, which
never happens.
Yeah, hardly ever happens. You know what? I won't say the last time it happened, because I think it was during a terrible year a couple of years ago. Was it the COVID year where everything fell on a Friday, but it happened to be COVID and just nothing? Nobody.
Yeah, it
could
was
do
like
anything?
the perfect year.
So now you get
it was.
you get a refresh.
I blocked all those from my memory. I don't know.
So Friday this year is Halloween, which is great. So we'll go do that. And honestly, I would love to go to this show because I would like to watch some of these artists. I'm tied in on Thanksgiving, on the trick or treating, but I believe in New Orleans is Paul McCartney or something that weekend.
Really?
Same weekend, or am I mistaken?
No, you might be right about that.
And then you got Boots on the Bayou here down the street. 2 incredible days of country music right in your backyard. So with that said, there was some changes to that lineup this week, Jimmy. The first night,
yes,
Cody Johnson,
yes,
he's not there. What happened to him?
He had some upper respiratory stuff going on,
Okay.
and then he burst his eardrum. He had to have
Ooh.
surgery, and the doctor was like, "Yo, it's going to take you weeks to recover." So he canceled all of his dates throughout the rest of the year. Unfortunately, he's better. He's healing, but you can't sing if you can't hear.
Right.
So the Boots on the Bayou people, we've been working
No
really
one told
close.
Vince Neil that.
Yeah. We've been working really close with the organizers of Boots on the Bayou.
Yeah.
It's a great team that they have over there. They really put together, I believe, the biggest 2-day music festival that's come to this area. They are searching, and I believe that they are really close to finding a replacement for Cody Johnson, which is awesome. And you know the lineup. So Cody,
And everything else stays in place.
yes, everything
Okay.
else will stay in place. So like on day one, it's Parker McCullum. I mean, these are really big names that you don't get ever at the same place for 2 days. So we have Parker McCullum, we have Ashley Cook. She's going to be on day 2. They've got the Marcus King band. Elle King will be there. Maddox Batson will be there. Chris Stapleton headlining night 2. We've got our my station is doing a really cool tailgate party both days before it kicks off at 10 a.m. We've got Cowboy Mouth is playing. We've got Timothy Wayne. We've got the Lauren Lee Band. We've got Connor Martin. We've got Bradley Gaskin. And we've got Colby Cooper. So,
Cowboy Moth is always great. Timothy
Oh, yeah.
Wayne is the nephew of
Tim McGraw.
Who else did you mention in that group?
Lauren Lee Band.
Lauren Lee,
She's
okay.
fantastic. She's a local favorite. She plays all over the place. She was at Live After 5 last time with Timothy Wayne. So it was
Okay.
a really awesome show. We're super excited to just be able to tie in our local people
Mhm.
with all the big acts that are coming to
This
Boots on the Bayou.
is earlier in the day, I would assume.
Yes,
right?
10 a.m.
Okay.
10 a.m. And then so the tailgate party, which is right outside the main gates of Boots on the Bayou, opens up at 10. The main gates will open up at 1. So we'll have vendors and we'll have food and there'll be a bar and there'll just be a lot of live music. It'll be a lot of fun. We have our morning show will be there as well.
Is Elle King working the bar?
Well, let's hope not. You know what happened last time she worked the bar. But no,
She
I don't
likes
think
to party.
I
I'm
don't
just
think
saying she likes to party. I'm not,
I
I'm
don't
not
think Elle
criticizing.
King's going to be at any bar,
Fair
or
enough.
at least any bar that I'm around.
Fair
you know,
enough.
her mouth.
Yeah.
Her mouth.
She's drunk and don't want to go home.
Exactly.
There you go.
I think she actually worked on something. She's been kind of laying low. I
know what?
believe
Good
that
for her.
she's,
Good for her.
and so
Fair
good for
enough.
her. Good
Yeah.
for her.
But the weekend is just incredible with that lineup, as you mentioned. These are artists that individually you would find at their own show, and in some cases probably headlining, but collectively coming together, for this festival, so to speak, for 2 days. 100.7 The Tiger will have all that information, as you mentioned. I'm sure there's chances to potentially still win tickets.
Oh, yes, we have a ton,
Okay.
and we just actually got more. So 1007thetiger.com, we have a ton of tickets, and they're 2-day tickets.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll get you into the festival for both days for Boots on the Bayou. Please go to our website. You can still register to win tickets. It's all under our Get Lucky contest page with the Lucky Law Firm. So you can register there, and we're going to start giving those away soon. And again, we have a bunch of them, so please register.
So that brings me to this topic, and I think this is someone that is trying to rain on our parade here in South Louisiana. It was a study done by Aaron Mansfield from Merrimack College. Wings, Booze, and Heartbreak, what my research says about the hidden cost of sports fandom. And he summarizes it by saying, in a nutshell, being a diehard sports fan, belonging to sports, as far as being a fan, forges community, but it can quietly undermine physical health. From beer-soaked tailgates to couch-bound viewing parties, fans tend to eat, drink more unhealthy food, especially after their teams lose. Each fan base develops its own health culture, whether it's Buffalo Wings, New Orleans' Fried Feast, or Cincinnati's Chili Dogs, where eating like a true fan becomes part of the identity. And research has shown that fans often cope with anxiety, disappointment, or rivalry stress through food, alcohol, linking fandom, emotional eating, and binge behaviors.
Binge behaviors. I love that.
And it goes into even talking about, I guess, stuff in New Orleans and in Louisiana in general. And, sometimes I feel like there's these studies that kind of tell us the obvious. Like, you go to a tailgate at LSU, and yes, you could sit there on a Saturday and have a bowl of jambalaya for breakfast, a plate of catfish an hour later, a link of boudin 2 hours later, all the while consuming various amounts of alcoholic beverages, all to get ready to go into the ball game.
And what's wrong with that? Like, what's the big deal?
It comes down to, I think, moderation, right? You got to know your limits. You got to know when to hit the eject button. Hey, you know what? I got to pass. And a lot of times your body tells you, because everything we cook is rice and pasta. So at some point you got to push away. You can't keep eating. I don't know. You get 12 of these a year, or how many LSU games? You get 8 of these a year, so to speak. You get 8 Saints home games if you go as a season ticket holder. There is always a reason in this state to party and participate
and to overindulge.
Right. It's not just football. It rolls into the holidays. It rolls into crawfish season. It rolls into the summer. So I don't know, Jimmy. I know you are a tailgate expert.
I wouldn't say a tailgate expert. I love a tailgate.
Mm-hmm.
As I've gotten older, I feel like we've kind of slacked off on going to like every single home game, getting up at 7 a.m.,
Right.
being at the tailgate at 8 a.m. You don't know
The
your
routine
friends.
is a little more
Yes,
lax.
It's a little more lax. But look, I love a good tailgate, and you're right. Like, it's okay to go to a tailgate and have pasta live for breakfast, and then catfish and boudin balls, and all the while, doing flip cup and beer pong and all that stuff. That's what we do down here. I think Sundays are for
that's
Sundays
athletic
are for,
activity to help you
yes,
after all that.
But I also believe that that's what Sundays are for. You can do it big, and then you're going to start your moderation stuff on Sunday.
Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. It's maybe heavier here because of the food that we eat. Because the article has a point. There is most everything, if you can fry it, will do it. But yeah, I just thought you got to find that moderation somewhere and know your limits, so to speak. I know going in, this is not healthy. And at the older I get is watching sports, the less I try to let it affect like my day. Like if the Saints lose, it's disappointing, but you got other stuff you got to get up and go do.
Well, that's a different story. And please, by the way, no one invite Cade to your tailgate if you want someone to be pushing you to do things in moderation. But no, I understand what you're saying, and
I'm just an old grumpy man.
It's okay.
Yeah,
it's okay. But like tomorrow, it's a 6:45 game. The worst ones are whenever the games are at like 11 or noon.
Yeah,
and you start all that when the sun isn't even up yet. That is a little bit more. Maybe we should slow down and do something after the game.
We did an ESPN radio national broadcast. So some of the national talent came in. This was 6, 7, 8 years ago, and we were setting up to have our shows on the parade grounds broadcasts, and then when Scott Van Pelt came on, they would broadcast in the same location. Like everything would be kind of from this one hub. And as we set up the stage and everything at like 5 a.m. that day, there was tents. They're already set up on that Friday before the game, and there were couches and whatnot. And I always remember this one young man who was passed out sleeping on a sofa. And by noon, when Charlie and them came on, he walked over with his giant Gatorade bottle.
With just not Gatorade.
I don't know. He was trying to hydrate himself, get back into shape, was asking us what we were doing, if we had any food. So to me, that's kind of the memory that sticks around of, an 11 o'clock kickoff is
the worst.
You got to start a little earlier, and you got to back time all that. There's another story I wanted to get to, and I think we may have to take the break before we get to it. We got how much time before?
I got about a minute and a half.
All right.
Oh yeah, we don't have.
So I'll tease that. Hub Sons, which I think is a stupid phrase.
It's so stupid.
Fox 5 out of Atlanta has this news clip, and I will get to that, and I want to get Jimmy's reaction to it. Just a short window here to fill in for Brian, and I appreciate the opportunity to do it. As a reminder, I'll be on at 6 o'clock tonight for Louisiana Prep Preview over on our sister station, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge, and over here on Talk, Ken Trahan's original Prep Football Report. That will be more so throughout the entire evening. So 6 to 11, you can flip over and catch Ken because he's going to give you in-game updates throughout the night, what's happening. He's got check-ins with almost every game, it seems like. If you listen to like the 7 o'clock hour, there's a segment in the middle where it's just call, update, and then there's a final scoreboard at the end of the night. He'll have some coaches on. He'll get correspondents out in Lafayette, somebody in Monroe, somebody in Alexandria, somebody down the bayou, somebody in New Orleans. So it's really comprehensive. It'll be on tonight at 6. It's all brought to you by Dr. Pepper and the Harold Perkins Jr. Tuition Program. So that's coming up tonight. Brian's going to be out at Live After 5, I believe, this evening.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be a good one today.
That's back after the week off. So you can clock out and rock out over with Haldane at 5 o'clock. It's a fun weekend. A lot of stuff going on with the Tigers in town. All right. We'll check on the markets when we get back. Hub Sons. Are you one of them? We'll find out next.
Hub Sons.
I did not even know what that was until you sent that last night. Hub Sons.
Didn't it just be like you stayed at home until you graduated college and you got your own place? Now it's like you got to pay your own. Like when I was living at home, it was like, hey, you're 20 years old. You got to take out the garbage.
All right.
You got to wash your own clothes.
Yeah.
But now it's like everything has to be like a name and a trend.
I know, man. It's
Paul Bird, everybody.
Hey, Paul.
Also, I fill in for Brian on 8 o'clock on a Friday. No food.
right.
With the shit.
Right. That's what happened yesterday when he announced you were going to be filling in for him in the 8 o'clock hour. I'm like, oh, Foodie Friday? He's like, no. I'm like, oh.
God, and then yesterday, I think all my friends are talking about that story that came out with the people that are getting like Botox on the internet and just injecting themselves and ending up in the hospital. Like it was too.
I didn't. The doctor that was like, is it the one with the doctor that was had the bad Botox or something like that?
I didn't hear about it until Conan came in and mentioned it. And I was like, what? People are Botoxing themselves?
Yeah,
that's
like
insane.
They're getting. I see it on TikTok. Like people are getting like this Korean stuff, but you have to really have like a qualified injector to
Like
put
they're giving
poison in your
themselves a
face.
shot?
Like Yeah, like they're
That's
doing it
insane.
themselves. It was on
Like they think it's just as simple as GLP. Like I just give myself the shot and
I guess. but
yeah, like it's the wildest thing. I'm trying to find
go to Williamson. Like get shit. I don't
no,
know.
go to Unique
My
Aesthetics and
bad.
Wellness.
Yeah, there you go.
Um
Go to a professional.
yes.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Counterfeit injections. So
Like getting dental in Mexico.
right. For suspected botulism.
Yeah, they LRN had that story about botulism.
Oh, they did.
That's the same thing.
Oh god.
Oh yeah, I'm seeing it. Ooh. I mean, there are professionals that botch people. Like, what makes you think you could just inject this into yourself?
Yes,
Like,
they want shortcuts.
man,
It's a shortcut. It's probably cheaper. This and that.
oof,
It's hard work to look this good.
man.
Do you find that the videos overall look better with this so far?
I think so.
Can you tell?
Yeah.
Like if we created shorts with them that were zoomed in, you think it wouldn't be as?
Yeah, and that's been another great thing too, is being able to zoom in.
It doesn't look as blurry.
Mm-mm.
No.
Not at all.
Is there a certain shade you use? Like it's
So we were kind of experimenting the other day, and that seems to be the one that kind of is good. But it all depends on the guests. Like we had Haggai and Mike Strain come in, and they're really pale guys. God bless them. But
yeah,
and
Haggai
they're
had
wearing
a
white shirts,
shirt,
and they're
so
just
it's-
glowing.
right.
So I had to
you
kind
can't
of
really. You gotta.
yeah.
Okay.
I love these lights. That's what I use in my office, and we used to use them to film my stuff. But now I just bring
Is it
the
LED?
big. And you can change. It's LED,
yeah.
but you can change. You have the control console
Yeah,
up there, like
on
the
the-
Elgato. You
yeah.
can turn the color, the brightness. It's really awesome.
I'll have
So
to get
cool.
with you before you leave today. I got to record some stuff
Yeah.
after this, but or I'll get with Michelle also. I think she can show me how to use the app.
I was impressed.
I can show you
by
how to do
just-
it too. It's easy.
Yeah,
It's easy.
yeah, simple.
Okay.
Simple.
But what Wi-Fi are they connected on? Is it on the guest or the LAN?
LAN.
LAN. Okay.
Yep.
These are connected to Wi-Fi.
Yeah, that's how you control it.
Oh.
Yep. We got another about another 45 seconds before we come back.
Alrighty. Oh. No Alan Beebe.
Thank God.
All right.
Never could understand a word that dude was ever saying.
What was that street he always said? Couldn't get.
Lobdell.
Lobdell. All right, so he's blocking Lobdell. Oh, alrighty. Here we go.
Thanks for that, John. You think that's a country
Who's
song?
that, JP?
That's Dylan Scott.
Dylan Scott?
The one
Sounds
and
good.
only Dylan
The
Scott.
one and only Dylan
That's it.
Scott.
I'm
Love that
partial
dude.
to what I grew up with, but I can dig some of the new stuff.
What'd you grow up with?
A lot of the '90s stuff. So it was like Clint Black,
Neil McCoy.
and Neil McCoy. Yeah.
Alan Jackson.
Who was
Michael
the one that sang
Montgomery.
"Money in the Bank"? John Anderson.
John Anderson. Yep.
John Anderson. That might have been one of the most requested songs.
We still play that.
Man, it's good stuff.
I love it.
So something I don't love. Play this clip, John. It's from Fox 5 out of Atlanta.
All right, let's see what we got here.
Trend is picking up steam. Stay-at-home sons. These young men, dubbed trad sons or hub sons, are opting out of the rat race to take on full-time homemaker duties for their parents in exchange for room and board. A family therapist tells the New York Post that this shift may be fueled by insecurity and instability, with some young men feeling safest under mom and dad's roof in an uncertain world. And they're not alone. 1 in 3 U.S. adults age 18 to 34 now lives at home. Experts say it's fine as long as it's a pit stop and not the destination.
So there's the story that you sent me of is it a hub son?
Yeah, like short for husband.
So basically
almost.
these lazy dudes that don't go to work and don't have jobs, they want to,
Yeah.
mooch and live off their parents. So the story, there's a guy named Luke. At 34, he's doing all these things at his mom's house, and there's a picture of him cleaning out the pool, and she's like laid out reading a book.
Yeah.
But it said something about rather than him like loafing around all day and eating bonbons and scrolling through TikTok, his mom's a flight attendant, and Luke's around the house taking care of all the business for free. I'm not down with that. Are you?
I feel like, so part of this is if I'm 18, 20 something, I'll go back to those years and say, part of that time is spent, I wanted to make money. And I wanted to make money for a couple of things. Go hang out with my boys and maybe find a nice lady to hang out with. And if I'm always at home, that's just not, hey.
And right, not at mom.
You want to come hang out, watch a movie? My mom's back. She flies out of Southwest next week, but she's here for the week. She's just going to be by the pool. Well, before we watch the movie, I got to go clean the pool real quick, change out the litter box, and then I promise I'll microwave you something really great. I just feel like you're not running game that way.
And then what do you tell people when they're like, what do you do? Oh, I'm a stay-at-home son.
Yeah.
Like,
that's the other thing. That's not something to brag about. And I hate the trendy terms.
The names.
Yeah.
Hub son.
Yeah. Because, by the way, Taylor Swift is a trad wife now, according to TikTok.
And what is that?
Traditional wife.
Oh,
because of her relationship with Travis Kelce, she is,
Okay, she's not traditional.
She's not traditional. But then they're calling him trad sons or hub sons, like short for husband or something, like a husband son, because he's doing, the work of the house. Look, if it's a scenario where mom is a single mom and you're helping out your mom, it's a little different thing. Mom and dad are there and you're just loafing around at home and you don't have a desire to go make some money. Like that was a motivating factor for me. I was spending the best of Jeff Foxworthy on Saturday mornings to make a little money.
$4.25 an hour,
Yeah,
right?
Don Dubuque show. Somebody had to run it.
I think we all ran the Don Dubuque show back in the day.
So there you go. 1 minute to go. Before we get out of here, like I said, I just want to play that. I thought it was a fun story. Jimmy, one more time, tell us a little bit about where they can find you and what's going on with the Tiger.
100.7 The Tiger. Man, our station is fantastic. Big D and Bubba in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
I handle everything while you work until 2 o'clock. We've got the lovely and talented Brittany Rose. She's on for Off the Record in the afternoon from 2 to 6. And then Breland. We're all local people. We all live here. And she's on from 6 to 10. So we would love to have you in the afternoons. Thank you for having me on today. It was a treat. It was a treat.
Thank you, JP, for
Thanks,
producing the program today. And thanks to Brian, of course, who is and will be back in the chair on Monday. JP is out, so I'll be in for you. We'll hang out with you on Monday, recapping everything from the weekend. Hopefully a Tigers win and maybe a Saints win as well. I don't know if we can parlay that. We'll see.
But we'll see.
We'll see you on Monday.
Have a great weekend.
Awesome.
Awesome.
That's good stuff.
All right, now let me go track.
All right. Back to being a trad.
A trad. Back to being a trad.
Later, Facebook.
Y'all have a good weekend.
All right, you too.